Renovation expert. The one upgrade I know homeowners will love: better, fresher Culligan water straight from the tap. Culligan's Aquacentral reverse osmosis filtration system takes your water to the next level. With up to 7 stages of filtration and 14 filter options, they're certified to reduce over 90 contaminants. Your tap water is about to get a major upgrade.
Get Sonny Meta on, the new GM of the Devils.
Get started with a free in-home water test at Culligan.com. Culligan, water you love.
Tim's Smile Cookie is almost here. And with every bite, you'll help make a difference close to home. Because 100% is donated to over 600 local charities and community groups. Buy your Tim's Smile Cookies April 27th to May 3rd. At participating restaurants in Canada for a limited time.
Jason Gregor Show.
Room for Manson. Wrist shot. Blocked again in front. Wins it. The Avalanche survive in overtime.
On Sports 1440.
Figuring it out here this third. Like this. First stop, your first stop. He still does that, by the way.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Extra period to win the game for Tampa Bay. No, side.
Oh, baby, it is game day again. Welcome to the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440 Sports. 1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. As always, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province at PlayAlberta.ca, where, of course, tonight, the OG of Lottery, Lotto 649. You can get your tickets, PlayAlberta.ca, and of course, pretty good jackpot. The Matthew Garon, 32 million. PlayAlberta.ca. We are coming to you live at On the Rocks, and if you are planning on going to the game tonight, watching with some friends, well, this is the place to watch because it is cold. It's stupid cold outside for April 22nd. It's going to be raining later on tonight, but there'll be no rain. There'll just be great specials and lots of fun. You got 69-cent wings tonight. You can play score and win, get paid every time Oilers scores. Also, $5 domestic beers, highballs, Vizzies as you pregame a little bit. And how about this? You win, everybody's in a good mood. You know what they're doing right after? Karaoke right here at OTR. Ooh, who doesn't love a good karaoke, man? I love it. Connor, have you ever karaoke'd in your life?
Yeah, but it's usually, no, I should say the few times I've done it, it has been Liquid Courage for sure. I'm not someone who's going to get up there, no drinks, and just go for it.
Okay.
Couple beverages might hop up there.
Might hop up. Do you have a go-to karaoke song?
No, I don't like to pigeonhole myself like that. You know, depends on the mood. I've noticed people like The Killers. When we were young was the one that people really got into. Yeah, I think that's a pretty good one. Though people start singing along, so that's a pretty good one. Do you have one? Well,
I've karaoke'd a few times.
I've seen you perform a few times, actually.
Yeah, I don't mind it. Bust a Move for a long time was one that I did actually won a karaoke contest in LA at Bust a Move.
No big deal.
Many years ago, yep. And mixing a little Vanilla Ice, some Backstreet Boys. Little fun, easier songs. Like I wouldn't say like I have a great singing voice, but I can rap fairly well. So, or fast songs. But like you're not going to get me singing a ballad. That would be terrible for everybody. So, but OTR, for fun here, one of our anniversaries, we might have to bring back our karaoke contest because God, we had some unreal karaoke people that came in. I still remember the girl where she had her whole like bubble machine on. She was dressed up as a mermaid, and God, she could really sing. I was like, oh my God, so had some good times. So right here on the stage at OTR. So if you're looking for a little fun night after the game, you might want to get down to On the Rocks, Jasper Ave, and 118th Street. And of course, tonight it is game 2. The Edmonton Oilers taking on the Anaheim Ducks. We got some lineup changes on both sides. Ratko Gudas is out. Drew Hellingston will draw in for Anaheim. Now, Gudas missed 7 of the final 8 regular season games. He tried to gut it out. Now, I was told he had a lower body injury, and I do wonder, did that play into him losing, catching an edge that led to Matthias Ekholm having a wide open lane to come down and rip a shot, and then Dickinson buries the rebound? I'll never know for sure, but it definitely makes you wonder. So he only played 9 minutes in the game. I think he was clearly ailing. So Drew Hellingston comes in. Big body, but not a lot of experience on the back end for the Ducks, especially in that third pair. Meanwhile, the Edmonton Oilers, Adam Henrique is out for sure. Szymanski's going to play his first game. Also learned today that Josh Szymanski is the middle of 7 kids in the Szymanski family. Outstanding. So we'll get to that story in a little bit. But we might see Jason Dickinson or Curtis Lazar. Now, if Dickinson doesn't play, then Ryan Nugent-Hopkins will be the third-line center. I asked Chris Knobloch that. He confirmed that it would be Nugent-Hopkins. Now, it's playoff time. And I know lots of players don't take morning skates. They don't practice between games, and then they play. Dickinson, we all saw when he blocked a shot in San Jose late in the regular season. So I know I can't confirm if does he have a hairline fracture? Is it just a bad bone bruise? Either way, it's painful. We saw him in the second period. Aggravated, he was down. He went off gingerly. But then he did return. Obviously scored the game-tying goal before Kasperi Kapanen scored the winner. So we'll see. Usually you can tell, even if a guy doesn't take the morning skate, whether or not the other players are going to draw in. And Curtis Lazar, he was one of the first guys off the ice today. And he was one of the first guys undressed and out of the dressing room. Now, maybe that's just a diversion for everybody to think that Dickinson's going to play, and maybe they truly don't know, so they're like, hey, Curtis, we don't want you to bag yourself for the morning skate in case you got to play at night. Because I know yesterday was an optional skate, and he pushed himself pretty hard. So maybe that was part of it, but there's lots of factors here. I don't think it's a lock that Dickinson's playing. I'll say that. I don't think it's a lock he's not playing. I honestly, because if they knew for sure he wasn't playing, then I think, well, why wouldn't you play Nugent-Hopkins at center? Now, Nugent-Hopkins doesn't have to take a morning skate in line rushes at center either, right? But, just for feel, you could do it. But Lazar coming off the ice and, got out of the room fairly quickly before anyone could talk to him. I'm just wondering if maybe, because Spencer Stastny stayed out late, and he's obviously not playing. So we'll see. Earlier this year, when guys have been injured, and then, Leon Draisaitl, for instance, when he stayed out late, and then when he was coming in, is he going to play or not? And the other guys stayed out late. Well, guess who didn't play? The guys who stayed out late. So that's my thoughts on Lazar. Dickinson, of course, 2 big goals. It would be a loss, no question. The Edmonton Oilers, you should be able to beat the Anaheim Ducks, whether you have Dickinson or not. That's just how playoff hockey is. You got to win games. You're going to have to beat good teams when you have injuries at times. So we'll see how it plays out. 833-401-1440, 833-401-1440. I'm with Connor. Drinks are a must before karaoke. I get it for some. Well, plus the other thing is you feel like you probably sing better, right? You feel like you sound better. It's usually what it is. Lots of things taste better. Lots of things feel better. I get it. I understand it. That's how it goes. So either way, whatever gets you up there, karaoke's fun. As long as you're not up there thinking you're going to be the next Mariah Carey, next Bruno Mars, but you can pretend that you might be. That's what makes it fun. The Edmonton Oilers tonight, we'll hear from Connor McDavid. We're also going to hear from Alex Killorn, longtime veteran, NHLers, won multiple Stanley Cups. What do you think of his team? 13 players made their playoff debut in Game 1 for the Ducks. A mixed bag. You had guys like Leo Carlson, played great. Tim Washy, excellent in his role. Then you had Cutter Gauthier. Cutter Gauthier was 6th in the NHL this year in shots on goal with 286. 6th. He had 1 shot on goal. He only played 12 minutes at 5-on-5 in that opening game. And I I look at Cutter Gauthier, they're going to want more from him. Right now, he's not going to be the first player whose first game or maybe first series in the playoffs doesn't go as well as you would expect. We can give you a long list of players. It's different, man. Maybe you don't feel into it, and all of a sudden the coach doesn't have faith in you. Who knows? Lots of variety, lots of reasons why. But they're going to need Gauthier for sure, I think. If you want to win, you got to go with the guys. Like, he's your leading scorer. And if all of a sudden you go into the playoff series and your leading scorer doesn't get a goal in the whole series, it's hard to win. That's just how it is. So you can maybe have a game or 2 or 3 where he doesn't score. That's fine. Right? He was averaging a goal every second game in the regular season. But it's hard to win in the playoffs when your guys who got you there don't get you there. So they'll need Cutter Gauthier to get going. It's no different than Connor McDavid. But the Oilers won a game where Connor McDavid didn't produce a point, wasn't on the ice for any of the Oilers' 4 goals. I look at that as a positive because Connor McDavid in his career, only 4 times has he gone consecutive games in a playoff series without a point. And 2 of those happened in his first playoff run in 2017. 2 games against the Sharks, 2 games against the Ducks. And the Oilers won some of those games. That year, they're actually 3-2 in games he didn't get a point. And he had a 100-point season that year. So, good for the Oilers. Since then, twice against the Jets, or once against the Jets, I should say, 2 games in a row, and then against the Panthers in 2024. That's it. The guy's played 97 games in the playoffs. It's rare that he's going to be held pointless in consecutive games. So you go to playalberta.ca, McDavid a point, that would seem like an easy one. But it's not just that. McDavid talked about, he said for him personally, he felt it was more so what he didn't do than what the Ducks did on zone entries on the power play. If you watch it normally, and trust me, you watch other teams around the league, Oiler fans, you are spoiled, and I don't, not in a bad way, because McDavid just makes it look easy all the time. Oh, McDavid's got his own entry. Oh, there's another zone entry. Oh, there's another one. And I watch other teams, they do the drop pass too, but they don't have the edge work. They don't have the speed of McDavid to come in almost at will. So in one, and it was really only the one power play, the first one, and the Oilers had a tough second period to that point, and I think he just tried to force it. McDavid said it was more me and my decisions. I need to be better in that regard, and I would guess he will be better in that regard tonight. As far as their 5-on-5 play, he talked about they got to play fast. He felt that, when they play quick, things were good. Thought they played quick in the first period. And he was talking about the team in general, 5-on-5, not just his play. But look for McDavid to come out and play faster tonight. Now, the Ducks, on the other hand, they're going to counter. And I think the Ducks, a lot of them, they like their game. Like, you lose 4-3. You're leading that game with, 8 minutes to go, and an unlucky break by Gudas falling. Otherwise, who knows? Maybe you win. So they came back again. They were tied for the most come-from-behind wins in the regular season with 26 this year. So if the Oilers get up 1 or 2 goals, it doesn't mean good night, Irene. Against some teams, it does, not the Ducks. The Ducks, it's weird. They're more comfortable in that situation. So we'll see how they can they handle it tonight. Edmonton wants another good start. They loved their first period. They didn't like their second period. And now we'll see what they can do tonight. No goalie changes. Oilers, same defense, as we mentioned. There's Gudas out for the Ducks. Henrique's out for sure for the Oilers. And it's either going to be Dickinson or Lazar, depending on the health of Dickinson. He clearly aggravated his ankle injury in game 1. And you get through it in the game, and then, the adrenaline wears off. You go to bed, you wake up the next day, and maybe you're just not feeling it. Or at the same time, it's a playoffs. And Jason Dickinson might not skate or practice other than on game days. He would not be the first guy. Remember, Draisaitl did it the whole time in the playoffs. So you can add it. It's very, very simple. 833-401-1440. Coming up, Mike Rupp will join us. Will James, as we got the Flyers and the Penguins. Philly at home tonight. They could go up 3 Cobb in the series. And if you're looking at it, so that's why we get into the series now. If the Edmonton Oilers win tonight, the Oilers, when they win the first 2 games of a series, all-time in franchise history, 19-1. They've only lost once. Do you know when it was? 2017 against the Anaheim Ducks. Some people may forget they were up 2-0 in that series. On the road. Funny enough. But that's the only time they've lost. In NHL history, teams who are leading 2-0 that start at home, they have won 88.2% of the games. 270 series wins, 36 losses. So historically, you got a pretty good chance. And this is just best of sevens, I should add. So, if I take out the Oilers, they had, the Oilers 19-1 record. There was a few best of threes in that, so it would go down a little bit. But I'm just talking best of sevens, 270 to 36. So big opportunity for them. Meanwhile, if you're Philadelphia, you win tonight, you're up 3 Cobb. Teams who have started on the road and went up 3-0 in a series, 57-1. There's been 213 best of 7 series that started 3-0. The team who was up 3-0 has won 209. They're 209-4. Right? We know that. It is it's almost a guarantee. So this is a huge game tonight for the Pittsburgh Penguins. If you want to stay alive in the series, you need to win. That's simple. And the Ducks, their odds aren't great if they lose tonight. They got 11.8% chance of coming back. So Edmonton, you could put a real big nail in the coffin tonight. So we're going to start Oilers, Ducks with Rupper in the NHL. Then Will James will join us, talk some Philly stuff. We got your Remchuk. Joe O'Donnell will talk about the other series tonight, which is Minnesota and Dallas. Of course, Edmonton would have to get to the third round to face either one of those teams. Derek Lee will get the Anaheim side of things at 4:20. We got Spec, DVD, Cam Tate. We'll get to 5 questions, stats of the day, and much more on a busy Wednesday edition, a wintry edition. It's not winter, but it's damn cold outside. No mas. Like, can I tap out? Who's with me? It's supposed to snow again tomorrow. God. And just, and hey, I know it'll melt and it'll be good. It'll probably be great. Everything will be green, but it's just, who knows? But the good news is tonight, if you had a plan, I want to go watch a game. Well, yeah, come down the rocks. Jasper Ave 118. It's warm in here. Drink specials, food specials, lots of prizes to be won. Jasper Ave and 118th. We'll return with Rupper on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Whether you're a craft beer connoisseur or more of a wine aficionado, there's always something new to discover at Sherbrooke Liquor, a unique, family-owned, independent liquor store. The selection, incredible. The non-alcohol section is also very impressive. Sherbrooke Liquor, expert, knowledgeable staff with a passion for unique finds. More than just a liquor store, we're a community. Alberta's best, the one and only Sherbrooke Liquor. Wine, spirits, and oodles of beer. Visit SherbrookeLiquor.com. For the first time in 66 years, Golden Bears and Pandas hockey are on the move. During the 2026-27 Canada West season, 2 of the most successful hockey programs in U Sports history will call Silent Ice Center in Nisku their temporary home. The Golden Bears and Pandas are excited to connect with the South Edmonton community and welcome new fans to experience the tradition and excitement of U of A hockey. Same tradition, new temporary home. Golden Bears and Pandas hockey at Silent Ice Center for the 26-27 season.
And now Action Electrical's testing team is on defense duty. They're the guardians of safety and compliance, a critical part of any lineup.
Precisely. They perform rigorous safety and code compliance testing for commercial operations. Think of them as the referees, ensuring everything is up to standard before disaster strikes.
Their preventative plays are legendary, spotting faults early. Hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
At Hughes, it's all about getting in and out quick and clean. No cash, no problem. With Hughes' new tap and wash system, all you need is your debit or credit card to get your vehicle sparkling clean. Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
Do you sit around at work listening to sports radio all day? That's right, my friend. There's no shame in it. It's the good life. And we're not here to snitch. Say, if your company advertised on Sports 1440, you could be the one listening for your company's ad every day. Now you've got an excuse to listen to Sports 1440 all day. It's part of the job. Sounds like someone's getting a promotion. Email Gregor at sports1440.ca and let's get to work for you.
Nothing beats getting a deal at McDonald's. Why? Because you get a deal now.
And Deal later.
Redeem an offer from the latest mailer or the McDonald's app and dig into instant savings. Plus, you earn points towards
Free McDonald's.
Now that's what I call
a double whammy of deals.
Why does that keep happening? Deals sent right to your door. Check your mailbox for the latest McDonald's mailer loaded with delicious value. For a limited time at participating restaurants in Western Canada.
For over 50 years, The Brick has been proudly serving Canada. They love to save you more on everything you need for your home. Save up to 60% off made in Canada sofas when you buy the matching love seat or chair. Find patio sets starting at just $99 and save up to 40% off mattresses. Plus, take 5 years to pay with 0% interest on furniture and mattresses. Taxes and fees due at purchase, OAC. Visit a Brick near you for details and exclusions. The Brick, saving you more.
One of the guys. I'm Rick Showers from Noble RV, and I want to give you something for free. A free roof assessment on your used RV. And remember, basically every RV is a used RV.
What do I get for my free roof assessment, Rick?
Well, Bob, we're going to climb up on top of your RV and take a good detailed look at your roof. Check all the joints, connections, and seals. Then we'll give you a written report so you know exactly what's going on up there. You should do this at least twice a year.
You're just doing this out of the goodness of your heart, Rick?
Cards on the table, Bob. About 1 in 10 RVs we see have something wrong with the roof. If yours is one of them, then yes, we're going to offer to sell you a repair. But we'd rather do a small repair when your leak is small than sell you a big, expensive repair when it's so bad you can see it from the inside. And you don't have to accept our offer to fix it. It really is free either way. So come by Noble RV and know for sure.
And that's Noble.
NobleRV.ca.
Hey, it's Jamie from Green Drop Lawn Care. They may be teeny tiny, but chinch bugs can completely devastate your lawn or garden. If you have yellowing grass that doesn't improve with watering, you may already have them. At Green Drop, we'll identify them, treat them, and help you recover from the damage before it's out of control. Stop chinch bugs cold with Green Drop Lawn Care, Canada's lawn expert since 1979. Find out more and get started at greendrop.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by EWEL, helping you finish your electrical project is their goal. From pot lights to electrical panels, the gear you need is at ewell.ca or in person at one of their Edmonton area locations. ewell.ca, your partners in power.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We continue on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching the show. It's always brought to you by playalberta.ca. And while you're there, check out the Jason Gregor Show Odds Boost specials. Catch them every day. Of course, we got lots around the Oilers and the Ducks and our unexpected goal scorer tonight. Check it out. playalberta.ca. We are live at OTR, Jasper Ave, 118th Street. Always lots of laughs in this place. Oiler fans get fired up. You got some specials. You get together with the whole gang and all sorts of TVs. I'm watching the Jays game as we speak right now. So lots of TVs. Good place. Doesn't matter. There's no bad seat in the house. You're going to have tons of big screens, lots of TVs. If you want to watch an intimate one right close to you or you want to watch the big ones, you can either way. Check it out. Tonight, reserve a table, though. Guarantee your spot. Now, let's talk a little NHL as we get to our big guest of the day, brought to you by Silent Ice Center, state-of-the-art entertainment facility in Nisku with features 2 ice surfaces, has a 1,600-seat arena, restaurant, a great viewing area, great for hockey, curling, and concerts. Silent Ice Center. As Mike Rupp from the NHL Network, Stanley Cup winner, Game 7 hero, joins us. Rupper, how you doing, my man?
I'm good, Greg. How you doing, buddy?
I'm pretty good. It's been an interesting start to the NHL playoffs, and I know it's not the worst goal I've ever seen. You know, it's unlucky for sure. It might have saved Boston's season, to be honest. That dump in from center ice.
Yeah, I mean, wow. I don't know. I mean, it took a funny bounce there, but yeah, I mean, that's a way you could obviously look at it. Does that save Boston season? What does that do to UPL? I think moving forward, I mean, you'd hope that he can kind of just put that past him and move forward, but it gave Boston some hope. And Boston is a team that I think is sneaky. I think they can, as impressed as I've been with this Buffalo Sabres team, the Boston Bruins I think they can surprise, and they've got some depth, and they've got this, I don't know, man, they just got this ability to different players to step up. I mean, Victor Arvidsson, seeing him back being healthy, he is a force out there, and that was the one of the more fluky goals I would say I've seen in quite some time.
Oh yeah, definitely, no doubt about it. And hey, in the playoffs, you gotta bounce back from adversity. And adversity comes in a lot of different forms at a lot of different times, sometimes to individuals, sometimes to the team. And really, like, Luukkonen ends up getting pulled in the game. And now I'm really curious, can he just let it go for game 3?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. At the end of the day, like the way that it was, it's fine. What I'm trying to say is it was such an egregious kind of goal that I wonder if that lingers. But then again, like goaltenders, like a goal's a goal. And you give up a bad one. I mean, you give up, if you're off your angle on the shot, I don't understand. It's easy for me to say because I never played the position, but I don't think you should really overanalyze that. It was a fluky play. And he's been so good for them, but they've had good goaltending throughout this run of 60 games, if you want to call it a run. So, yeah, you know what? I think back to the Stanley Cup Finals. I don't know if you remember I think it was in 2003. It was when I was up with the Devils. You remember the one in Anaheim that went kind of funny off Marty Berdore's stick into the net? Like, it was a very strange goal where the puck is just kind of coming to him very slowly, and he dropped his stick and he went to go get it, and it bounces off his stick and goes 5-hole and goes through. But Marty's he's the GOAT in my opinion. So for him to be able to put that beside him and move forward and to be good it was Marty Brodeur. But that's why goaltenders, man, I'm glad I'm not at that position. I'm glad I've never had to play that position because they're a special breed if they can kind of just forget it and move on.
What's interesting is I remember when you had Mike Smith and again playing for Edmonton and Calgary in 2022. Rasmus Anderson just took a slap shot from basically the opposing blue line, and Smith didn't see it coming through some players and beat him. It was wild.
Yeah, I remember that one. He kind of put his glove up like what happened? I mean, I just think he just lost it completely. So I don't know. I mean, maybe in some like that where you potentially just lose it, maybe it's easier to overcome than one that's like a high backhand from the neutral zone and just. I mean, it took a funny bounce, but not like that crazy. Like we've seen a lot worse. But at the end of the day, your teammates got to pick you up here, and Buffalo's still in a good spot in the series.
The Pittsburgh Penguins down 2-0 to the Flyers, and it's not like I don't think Pittsburgh's played horribly in the series, Mike. They just have been the weaker team both nights.
Yeah, no, that's fair. It's funny because I got a bunch of buddies who are Penguins fans who are like, I haven't seen this team play that bad and all season long. And I would say I don't know if it's so much that as it is this Flyers team's playing pretty darn good. I mean, they're forcing. I mean, they're pressuring the Pittsburgh Penguins. They're making it really difficult for the Penguins to get some quality looks in the middle of the ice. And this is one of those teams, Pittsburgh, like, you and I have talked about it all year, whether we're trying to figure out, are they real or are they not for real? They've never been an overly great defensive team. They're one of the bottom teams in the league as far as actual defending, but they generate a ton of looks offensively. And the problem is so far, they haven't really been getting a ton of those. And when they do, Dan Vladar's been awesome. So The Flyers I always find that playoffs are so weird when you go against a team that's just got they're just kind of in that mode, and they're just going, they're reacting off one another, and it feels like I think back to my days of playing where you could take even a mediocre player in the regular season, all of a sudden come playoff time, like he's the man, and he's just shutting things down, winning faceoffs, getting timely goals. Like it feels like Philly's kind of got that element right now. Like if Philly is winning this series, in my opinion, Pittsburgh's not losing it.
Yeah, no, I think that's well said. We've got the Game 3, Stars, Minnesota. They're tied at 1, so it'll be the first series tied at 1, get into a Game 3. And Minnesota really controlled Game 1. Dallas came back with a much better effort in Game 2. Now it switches to home ice for Minnesota, and obviously they get last change, so there'll be some matchups I think they would like. But, what did you make of Dallas's pushback? There still will be no Roope Hintz tonight. And I'll say this, if Roope Hintz maybe he's going to play Game 5, right? We'll see. But if they can somehow be even by the time Hintz comes back, to me, that's a big win for the Stars.
Yeah, that would be a big win. I mean, Roope Hintz can cause so much trouble for the opponent. He's so important to the Stars, but the Stars were just night and day so much better in Game 2. I just felt like the easiest one to pick out was probably Mikko Rantanen. Had a very poor Game 1. Just wasn't moving that well. Like he had that kind of weak back check on the one goal, and just wasn't winning puck battles, and then that's just kind of putting him as the main culprit. But a bunch of guys. I mean, the Minnesota Wild were first to pucks. They're winning pucks when they weren't first to it. So Game 2, it was different. I mean, the Dallas Stars were much better. Jay Gottinger made some massive saves. His glove was certainly working in the game, and I just feel like I just can't imagine this series not going 7. I'd be really disappointed if it doesn't. But it just seems like each team is going to just have some pushback. And we saw it in Game 2 with the Dallas Stars. So, you go into you get back to St. Paul, and the Minnesota Wild are going to want to establish that home ice. And, it'll be interesting to see where everybody is. I mean, how about that Colin Blackwell hit on Jakob Trenin? It was a massive hit. So things are starting to really pick up here, and I love it. This is going to be a great series.
Dude, that was a huge hit. What about the Jackson Lacombe reverse hit on Zach Hyman, right? Like, you don't see Hyman get popped like that either, right? And now Hyman came back, and he was winded for a bit, but he came back.
Yeah, Lacombe hit that really well, too, because I think a lot of times you can see almost like the coiling when you're going in there, and a guy's going to reverse hit you. He didn't really do that much. Like, he kind of hit it really well and caught Zach Hyman. I just love, Jackson Lacombe's a solid guy. Colin Blackwell's, he's smaller, but he's kind of thick, and he can, but it's just this time of year, everyone's just, I don't know, everyone's just bigger. Everyone just steps up in these moments, and that's playoff hockey.
I love it. Mike Rupp joins us. Rupper, now Utah, big win last night for them. First ever win in franchise history. But now it's a real strange schedule. So they have tonight off, they have tomorrow off, then they'll play Game 3 in Utah. Then they have 2 more days off before they play Game 4. So basically one game in the next 5 days. You're Utah, you're a younger team, you've got all this energy. Is the break good or bad for them?
I think it's bad. I mean, I think the way that energy was last night, I think they just want to go. I mean, honestly, for a young team, and these guys are so excited, going to be so excited to get on home ice there at the Delta Center. They probably just want to, hey, let's just play 3-3. They don't care. So, it's one of those things you got to kind of navigate through, and that's the playoffs. You just got to manage your emotions, and I'm sure there's certain elements of it where you're going to get a little bit of rest, or you can kind of have a little bit of time to maybe even break down a couple things that have transpired in the first 2 games. But I mean, I think if you're them, you just want to go. I mean, the young kids there, Dylan Guenther, he looks so good. We've known this. Logan Cooley's impressed me tremendously in these first 2 games. Just the fact that he's not only does he not backing down from the elevated physicality of the playoffs, he's initiating. And so this is something I didn't realize that he had. And I love watching it.
Mike Rupp joined. Now, Rupper, let's get to the Oilers Ducks game 2 tonight. Edmonton, they loved their first period. They didn't love their second period, and they came back and won in the third period with 2 goals. A little bit of a break on Gudas. So Gudas is out. I think that probably helps the Ducks, honestly. He was playing, but he's kind of playing on one leg. Only played 9 minutes, so Drew Hellison draws in. Henrique's out with an injury. Szymanski's in for him, and Dickinson's a game-time decision. If he can't go, Curtis Lazar is going to go. And I can't, now, you played in a lot of playoff games, so I have to. Usually, if you're playing in the game, you're off the morning skate pretty early. If you're not playing, you stay out late. Now, Lazar got off quickly, and maybe it's because they don't know if Dickinson's going to play or not. But I would think you played a long time, Rupper. You know at the morning skate if a guy's available. Like, is something going to change in 7 hours? It's going to make him eligible to play in the game. You either know or you don't at the morning skate, correct?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really think there'd be anything that would come up from there. I mean, they're obviously going to play. You always play the guessing game as far as the media goes, and want to keep everybody, which is always it's another conversation where you never know how that stuff goes with, or why we do that in hockey with keeping everybody on their toes. But yeah, I mean, in the morning skate, I don't think too much is going to change from there on.
Rupper, one last one. If you look, what do you make? I want to, because you cover the 3 teams in the tri-state area. The New Jersey Devils, what do you make of their new GM hire?
Yeah, his introductory press conference I thought was really good. I think he hit a lot of the marks there for the fans, and he had a really interesting thing that he brought up that I thought was great, because he was really talking about blending the analytics. I don't know if you saw that quote, but Sonny Maeda he's revered in our industry as being the big analytics guy, and the big analytics guy with the Florida Panthers, and how that's such a pretty much everything that he is. And he kind of answered it like he didn't view himself that. Like, he viewed himself as kind of like a collaborator, and the way that model was down there in Florida, and how they had to work together, and they had people from all different walks. Like, I think that's really important. So I thought he had a very impressive, well-spoken individual, nice press conference there. I'm curious to see what he does with hockey ops. Is the ownership going to allow him to go and kind of redo it in some facets, or is it going to be the way it's been? And, he talked about wanting to create the same kind of structure they had down there with the Florida Panthers. So yeah, that's the next step here, is to see what they do. Is Sheldon Keefe back? They have a lot of decisions to make, and he's talking about the next coming weeks here is going to be some evaluation time. But it was impressive. Bright guy. If he's allowed to do everything he wants to do, I think it could be the perfect hire.
Quickly, Tampa Bay, Montreal. Now, at some point, just hand out 10s or drop the gloves. Like, I don't know if I love all of the wrestling matches that were going on. Everybody's gloves are glued on. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm old school in that one. But, hey, like, when Hagel and those guys, have finally, him and Slavkovsky decided to go, I was like, okay, great. But, where do you come out on all of just the wrestling matches with the gloves on?
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. I think that's always the one thing that we've had in our game, that we always just mention playoff heroes, and those guys in the regular season that would never fight, would never drop the gloves, would never kind of be involved. But then playoffs come around and the stakes are high, and you're kind of protected by those stakes, but also by, just the magnitude of what we got in front of you. And so I just find that the playoffs, you have playoff heroes, and those were always, you could smoke them out pretty good. Nowadays, it's like you can't, because everyone's kind of doing that. So I love the fact when you finally, I actually really thought with the Hagel and Slavkovsky, I love the way that they were allowed to kind of let them go. And, I think it's a way to let some of the air out of it and not allow just these things to happen after every single whistle. You got to be smart, though. I mean, hey, Scott Sabourin dodged a bullet at the end of that game, man. About the end of regulation, my gosh. And John Cooper, great sound afterwards, talking about, hey, I had him focused for 58 minutes and I couldn't do it the last 2. But that's the tricky part. Like, this is all fun and we love watching it, but all it takes is for one bad penalty and your team's out of the playoffs. So, I'd love for just to, get it out, if you want to drop the gloves, drop the gloves. Call guys out and see if they're willing to do that, and then play some hockey.
Rupper, enjoy the games, buddy. We'll talk to you on the rundown on Friday morning.
Awesome, buddy. Enjoy.
There you go. That's Mike Rupp from the NHL Network, former NHLer, Stanley Cup winner, Game 7 hero, really, when he had the 3-point game. It was his only 3-point game of his NHL career, and it happened to happen in his rookie season in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Oh, baby. Talk about rising to the occasion. When we come back, more playoff hockey. There's 3 games tonight because an extra day off in between games for the Ottawa-Carolina series. You're going to see that for a few teams around the league. Not the Oilers. The Oilers are one that's going every second day, and I think they're fine with that, obviously, especially if you're winning. But so we'll get to some of the other series next. The Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca live and on the Rocks, Jasper Ave and 118th Street.
Craving your favorite mouth-watering pizzas? Papa John's has large specialty pizzas for only $19.99 for a limited time. Get a flavorful all the meats, the works, ultimate pepperoni, Hawaiian, barbecue chicken, and more on original thin or New York style crust. Use the code LSPEC at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. Get yours today. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your supplier of maximum comfort, bringing you the cool AC you need. You just have to call Legacy. Call Legacy. For comfort at night when the hot air suffocates you. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. For comfort in your wallet with no payments or interest for 1 year. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. You deserve comfort. Cool off today with AC from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
One app, triple the action. Play Alberta is proof that good things do come in threes. Whether you're into playing any of our exciting casino games, betting on your favorite professional sports teams from around the world, or buying into Canada's biggest lotteries, Play Alberta is the province's only app to do it all. Download today and discover a new way to play. Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Wondering what you can afford? Let Go Auto do the math with our free car loan calculator. No pressure, no awkward convos, just quick answers on your budget and payments. Bad credit, no credit? We got you. Text check to 780-777-7777. That's check to 780 all 7. Find out what you qualify for and start shopping with confidence. Go Auto. Drive what you love with payments that make sense.
It's playoff time, and we've got a lot to talk about. This is Andrew Walker on Edmonton Sports Leader, Sports 1440. Tune in after every Edmonton playoff game for the Legacy Heating and Cooling postgame show. Visit the experts at legacyheating.ca.
Come for Canada's largest trade shows, the biggest names in entertainment, exhilarating sporting events, and more. And stay for the experience at the Edmonton Expo Centre. Looking for the perfect place to host your next big event? From trade shows to galas, meetings, and concerts, the Edmonton Expo Centre has the space, event expertise, and service to make your next event unforgettable. With over 522,000 square feet of flexible event space, in-house catering, and operational expertise, they bring your biggest vision to life. Learn more at EdmontonExpoCenter.com today.
Canadian Tire's Big Spring Tire Sale is back. Save up to 25% on quality tire brands including Continental, Michelin, Motomaster, and Pirelli until May 21st. Conditions apply. Details online.
Cantork has turned 25. That's right, 25 years of building tools so good, they practically torque themselves. Hard work and innovation equals problem solved. See our latest designs at Cantork.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Sherbrooke Liquor, the best place for wine, cocktails, and beers from all over the world. Also a variety of excellent non-alcoholic options. See more at SherbrookeLiquor.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
Oh, buddy, that is a great tune by the legend Elton John. I love it. Fantastic. Welcome back. Wednesday afternoon, coming to you live at On the Rocks, Jasper Ave, 118th Street is the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, where you can get in the game. Of course, check out the Jason Gregor Show. Osboost got a lot of them on the order game tonight. And we will go around the NHL now, brought to you by McDonald's, where, hey, the deals are sent right to your door. Check your mailbox for the latest McDonald's mailer loaded with delicious value. Only available until May 4th at participating McDonald's. And tonight in Philadelphia, the Flyers could go up 3-0 and full marks. It's not like they have lucked their way into that. They have been the better team throughout the series. Will James from Philadelphia Hockey Now joins us. And Will, I like the Flyers going into this series. I'm not sure I liked them to the extent of how much they've dominated, because they've clearly been the better team in both games and in virtually every facet of the game.
Yeah, I mean, going into this series, I kind of thought the only thing that they really had the advantage was maybe goaltending. They got Vladar from earlier in the season, and I mean, it just hasn't been just the goaltending. Defensively, they're taking the middle of the ice away from the Penguins. At least in game 2, they were taking advantage of their chances. A penalty kill has completely turned the table from where it was at the end of the season. It's really been like a completely different team.
Well, it's been a completely different team, and it kind of started late in the regular season when Omar Tonk signed on, and he was a point-a-game guy in the regular season. Now he's come in, it's 2 goals. His first goal was a game winner in game 1, scored a big goal in game 2. Like, this guy has been unbelievable for the Philadelphia Flyers. I think even the biggest supporter of the Flyers wouldn't have expected this young kid to come in and be this much of a difference maker through 2 games.
No, what he's doing at 19 is incredible. I mean, look at the age. He was in college lectures maybe a month ago, and now he's sitting here playing in NHL games. And the fact that he has 2 game-winning goals in his first 2 career NHL playoff games too just kind of says something to his mental game too. He's built for these sort of big moments. You saw it in college, but now that he's doing it in the NHL, just that immediate jump is really, really crazy to me. And just to see the level of success he has, but also like the even keel that he has too. Like, if you're a 19-year-old kid doing what he's doing in the NHL right now, you'd expect, a little bit more excitement or maybe a little bit of energy. He's focused and ready to move on and keep playing the next game. And I think that's one of the most impressive things about him.
Any lineup changes tonight for the Flyers?
No, from game 2, it looks like it'll be the same lineup. Emil Andre did skate today, but Noah Juleson was taking the line rushes with Nick Seeler, and Owen Tippett missed morning skate, but it was just maintenance per Tocchet this morning.
Now, I've been reading some story. How do you feel Michkov has played in the series thus far?
I don't think he's been too bad. Obviously, the offensive factor has been a little bit missing, but you can say that for a handful of the guys there in the middle 6. I think the big thing with Michkov that would warrant maybe some other action would be if he was a liability defensively, but I don't think he's been too bad defensively. I don't think that it warrants any crazy action. I think what Tocchet did in game 2 was perfect. The Flyers went up. They were trying to protect the lead, so he shortened the bench a little bit. That obviously takes a guy like Michkov out of the equation. But to pull a guy out of the lineup in game 3 after going up 2-0 in the series in an incredibly tough environment, I think was a bit of a stretch. But again, you could say the same thing for a handful of guys that kind of haven't been producing, which also could be the craziest thing about this series for the Flyers so far.
Now, what about on the other side? Are you expecting the Penguins to make some changes?
Oh, absolutely. I did see that they shook up the third line a little bit. It looks like Soderblom's out. I think Justin Brazeau came back into the lineup. They're going to come out. They came out intense in game 2. Like, you could tell that they had a chip on their shoulder from game 1. They got hot goalied by Vladar. I think they're going to come out even stronger. The Philly crowd's going to let them hear them. I mean, every time Sid plays in front of the Philly crowd, he does something to quiet them. So I'd expect something even stronger from them tonight.
Well, this rivalry obviously goes back a long way. You go, the Giroux and Crosby days were great. And, there hasn't been that much animosity yet in the series. Are you expecting it to pick up?
Yeah, absolutely. I think during the beginning of the series, there were a lot of big hits. Or beginning of the series, the beginning of the first 2 games, there were a lot of big hits. And the end of game two, it got a little chippy there. Cam York took a couple of punches. I mean, it's going to pick up. But Taka talked about that this morning as well. For a lot of guys, it's a new game, so whatever happened at the end of last game is different. But I do expect there to be a little bit more intensity, see who can get the big hit first and get their bench going.
Well, the Penguins, like you talk about the Flyers, like they really haven't given up much right here. Like, people are looking, hey, like Stuart Skinner only gave up 2 goals last game. If your team doesn't score a goal, it's literally impossible to win the game. And I know Dan Vladar has played very well all year long for the Flyers, but are you surprised at just how well the team defense has done through 2 games of really limiting quality chances for the Penguins? The Penguins haven't generated much.
Yeah, I am a little bit surprised. I mean, I think the expectation going into it was Vladar was going to have to be on his game, and he has been. That's something I don't want to take away from him at all. But to see what the defense has done is something that I was not expecting at the beginning of the season, or the beginning of the series, pardon. I think the way that they took the middle away from a team full of future Hall of Famers, I think is incredible. What Travis Sanheim and Rasmus Ristolainen have done on the top there has been, I mean, you see why people say that players like Ristolainen are built for the playoffs. He's been bringing it physically, and he's been there, keeping things on the outside. As is Sanheim, I thought the defensive development of Cam York and Jamie Drysdale has shown really well in this series as well. Those two, typically known as offensive defensemen, have been able to really keep play to the outside as well. And even the third pair, when Emil Andre was in there, his size didn't seem to matter. He was in there playing much, much bigger than he is and a lot more physical. And Nick Seeler just eats pucks for a living. They've done a really, really, really good job taking away high danger chances and keeping things to the outside.
Looking to the Flyers and, Owen Tippett, great individual effort on that shorthanded goal. His speed is one of the fastest guys, for the last few years in the National Hockey League. And, we talk a lot about Martone, but, Tippett has really, there's been a lot of talk was reading down the stretch like, hey, they need Tippett to kind of step up. And I know it's only 2 games, but early on, he's definitely answered the bell for the Flyers.
He's been doing this really since I'd say the West Coast trip. That's what kind of everyone looks at as what turned the season around for the Flyers. And I think you could say the same thing for Tippett. He came out of the West Coast trip and he was playing with a lot of swagger. You could see him using his speed a lot more. Like, he's always had the speed and he's always had the power, but it wasn't often you saw him combine them and really become a speed power forward. But after that West Coast trip, he really, really started to use it as a combined effort. And I think that's been really helpful for him. And that generated a lot of chances for him to score, and he went on that scoring surge. But I think now the biggest difference between the Owen Tippett from this year and the Owen Tippett from the years prior is even if he's not finding his way on the score sheet, he's still finding a way to make a massive impact on the game with his speed and his power. He's been a really big driving force behind this.
Will, I appreciate it. What are your keys for the Flyers to take a commanding 3-0 lead? You win tonight, and your teams that are up 3-0 who start on the road are 57-1. So win tonight, and you got a pretty good chance to win.
I think one of the biggest keys for the Flyers is limiting the amount of time they spend in the defensive zone. They've done a great job keeping, the high danger chances away, but it doesn't mean that Pittsburgh hadn't been, they kind of dominated possession in the second and third periods in game 2. I think they got to keep that to a minimum, but they also need to find more balanced scoring. Looking at it today, of the 6 goals they scored, 2 of them were from defensemen, 2 of them came from Martone, and the other 2 came from the fourth line. So if you can find some scoring in the middle of the lineup there, I think that's a really big key for them as well.
Will, we appreciate it, man. Enjoy the game. Should be a hell of an atmosphere in Philadelphia tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
There you go. That's Will James joining us from Philadelphia Hockey now. And the Flyers. Now, I thought the Flyers were going to win the series. I picked them. They'd been playing great coming down the stretch. And, Pittsburgh, I thought the slipper was going to slide off their foot. Now, series isn't over. But the Flyers have looked really good. I don't know how much of that series you've watched, Con Man, if any, but I've been really impressed by the Flyers. Neither team has had a boatload. It's not like the Penguins are playing terrible defensively, but they've very much been a one-and-done offense so far in this series. Meanwhile, the Flyers have been able to generate a little bit more offensive zone time, and I think that's ultimately been the big difference in the series.
Yeah, I mean, the game we were talking about where the Penguins had 2 shots after 20 minutes with 3 power plays. Like, that is just ridiculous for that to happen. And I do give credit to the Flyers, absolutely. The Owen Tippett effort on the shorty was fantastic, but at the same time, if you're the Penguins fan watching that, you're like, what are we doing in our own end? Like, it was kind of embarrassing defensively. So, I'm kind of with you. I think the Flyers, we talked about it leading into the playoffs. Like, this is a team that's on the rise. They're going in the right direction for this one. And I will look at the Penguins and I'm thinking, like, was the playoffs enough for them? Did they see the playoffs and say, okay, we're back in the playoffs. People didn't think we'd be here. Good season. Because it just has been a very uninspiring effort from them. And a team with so many vets, too. I'm kind of waiting for, Crosby, Malkin to have that moment.
Yeah, neither one of them have done very much at all so far in this series. We are live at On the Rocks, Jasper Ave, 118th Street. Coming up, we are going to we're going to get hear from Connor McDavid, hear from Chris Knobloch, as well as the Ducks side of things. How many of you knew about Tim Washy prior to the series? Something tells me of being like, oh, I know who that guy is. Now, he's not a household name. He's not a dominant player. And do I think he could repeat what he did in game one regularly? I'd be skeptical. What did he do? He played the most minutes of any Ducks forward against Connor McDavid. They went 6 minutes and 40 seconds. And McDavid had one shot on net. Washy had one shot on net. Third line, that is. So he did an excellent job. That's basically 1/3 of McDavid's ice time where it's just a wash against the other team's fourth line. Like, that's a huge win for the Ducks. Now, if the Ducks want to try that again, if I'm Chris Knobloch, I'm like, take it. Do it, because I'll trust in my player. And so would I. Who wouldn't? But, for one game, man, I got to give Washy credit for a young kid come in there into that role again on the road against the best player in the NHL, and you basically play him even. That's pretty impressive. So have a conversation with Tim or your Remchuk, Joe O'Donnell, and much, much more. But first, let's get to the Con Man and a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Hire Good. For professional property services you can feel good about, get Hire Good. Site cleanup, debris removal, seasonal maintenance, and more. You can visit hiregood.ca. Hire Good. Stable jobs create stable lives.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
It's game day. Oilers Ducks down at Rogers Place just after 8 o'clock as the Oilers take a 2-0 series lead. We'll have pregame coverage coming your way at 6 with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson. Also, our Penguins taking on the Flyers in Philly. Philly up 2-0 there. And at 7:30, got the Wild and Stars. That series tied at a game apiece. In the association, Thunder and Suns at 7:30. OKC up 1-0-9. And at 5, you got the Pistons and the Magic. Orlando leading that one 1-0 as well. Major League Baseball, Jays trail the Angels 3-0 in the top of the 7th. Currently with runners on 2nd and 3rd. For Toronto, Elsewhere Mariners lead the Athletics. Now trail 2-1 in the bottom of the 2nd. Later tonight, Tigers and Brewers, Twins, Mets, Cubbies host the Phillies. The White Sox taking on the Diamondbacks. The Giants host the Dodgers. Earlier today, Marlins victorious over the Cards 4-1. Rays beat the Reds 6-1. Guardians at home fall to the Astros 2-0, and it was the Orioles over the Royals 8-6. In the AJ League final, Game 4 tonight in Canmore between the Eagles and Wolverines. Eagles currently leading 2-1. Puck drop at 7. In the BCHL, Crusaders and Bandits out in Sherwood Park. That'll also start at 7. Brooks leading 2-1. And in the PWHL, you've got Boston hosting Ottawa at 5 and Minnesota in Seattle at 8. Coming up in hour 2 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll hear from members of the Oilers, as well as Tyler Yaremchuk from Oilers Nation and the voice of the Minnesota Wild, Joe O'Donnell. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
This is Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting on Treaty 6 territory.
Download the free iHeartRadio app and listen to CKJR wherever you go.
Legacy Heating and Cooling jingle auditions, take one for Gene Principe. Hey, thanks for being on time.
I'm always punctual. Now, how about some cool beats while I drop the heat?
Ready when you are.
Call Legacy. Call Legacy.
Nice.
Boom! I'm a musical genius.
Legacy's going to love this for AC season.
What's not to love with no interest and no Principe payments for 1 year?
Are you always like this?
Yep. Unlike Legacy, I never know when to cool it.
Legacy Heating and Cooling.
I won't shave till we bring home the cup.
And I like to do a shot for every playoff goal.
My jersey's not coming off until we're the city of champs again.
Want a playoff superstition that always wins? Pick up a bag of Wilhock beef jerky for every game. Because when it comes to the playoffs, where there's a Wilhock, there's a way.
Make every playoff game a Will Hockey game day with Wilhock beef jerky. Only available in Leduc. Get yours today because you don't bring home the cup with salad.
At Leading Edge Physiotherapy, healing doesn't have to feel heavy, because in our SwimX aquatic therapy pools, you literally float your way to recovery. Whether you're dealing with arthritis, back pain, joint injuries, post-surgical rehab, chronic pain, balance issues, mobility challenges, or just feeling a little creaky, warm water and gentle resistance have your back, your knees, and your hips. Trusted by pro sports teams and rehab hospitals, our SwimX pools help you move sooner, hurt less, and recover faster. So take the load off. Let the water do the work. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
Edmonton's only 24-hour-a-day sports radio station can be heard anytime, anywhere. Sports 1440 is streaming on your phone, your tablet, your computer. Download an app today and listen to Sports 1440.
Welcome to Silent Ice Center, the region's newest hockey and event center in Nisku. Featuring 2 NHL-size ice surfaces, premium seating, private suites, and an electric atmosphere. From elite hockey to major tournaments, concerts, and special events, this is where the action lives. And with Summit Restaurant overlooking the rink, every event is a full experience. Silent Ice Center, built for champions, built for the community. Book your ice, your event, or your next big night at Silent Ice Center. Email booking@silenticecenter.com.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Would you like to be a part of history for the month of April? I'm kidding. Or as the kids say, bro, I'm joking. Would you like to help us set a record in April? Chill. Still kidding. At Northgate, we aren't trying to set any records or tell you how many vehicles we sell, and we really don't think you'd care. But what you will care about is this. Every dealer has the same costs. Trust me. GM does not have a favorite kid. You get to decide where you buy. 0% financing, a great selection, and of course, great people. Stop in and see us today. 13215 97th Street or business line at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Hold on to your hockey helmets, Edmonton. On the Rocks is serving up 69-cent wings that fly off the plate faster than a slap shot. And Molson Canadian and Coors Light for $5.75. Plus, OTR's TVs are so clear, you'll see the puck better than the ref.
That ain't hard, is it?
Score and win every game night during Edmonton's playoff run with specials starting 30 minutes before puck drop and last for the whole game. Be a part of the legend. See the menu at ontherocksYEG.com.
Hey, it's Jamie from Green Drop Lawn Care. You've known and trusted us as Canada's lawn expert since 1979. In all that time, the only thing we've loved to watch grow and flourish more than your lawn is our community. You've given us so much over the years, and we love to give back. Our community events crew is on the streets, at the festivals, and helping grow great causes and charities across the city. We love knowing your lawn is taken care of, and we'll help take care of the community too. Visit greendrop.com, and we'll see you out there.
Tim's Smile Cookie is almost here. And with every bite, you'll help make a difference close to home because 100% is donated to over 600 local charities and community groups. Buy your Tim's Smile Cookies April 27th to May 3rd at participating restaurants in Canada for a limited time.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Just after 3 o'clock, how are you? Game day on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram. Thanks for joining the show as always. Listening, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, watching YouTube, Facebook, X, Twitch, Instagram. Appreciate it. The Toronto Blue Jays, little midday game action. How about Soriano? Soriano pitched, that's Jose Soriano, pitched 5 innings today. Gave up 7 hits, but no runs. 7 hits, no runs. So he this year he's pitched 37 innings. His ERA is 0.24. Second in strikeouts, second in batting average, first in slugging percentage as far as having the lowest one for opposing teams. But guess what? He comes out of the lineup, and the Jays are like, all right. And they've scored 2 in the top of the 7th. Lucas just smacked the double to make it 2-1, and now we'll see if they can tie the game as Lucas is on second base and Ernie Clement at the plate as the Jays look to win 4 in a row for the first time this season. The Edmonton Oilers will look to win 2 in a row to start this series against the Anaheim Ducks, and history is on their side if they can win tonight. Teams that go up 2-0 when the series starts at home have a record of 270 wins, 36 losses. So that means you win 88.2% of the series if you go up 2-0 on home ice. Now, the Oilers haven't gone up 2-0 very often in the McDavid era. They did it once against the Ducks. That's the only loss in franchise history when they've gone up 2-0 in a series. That was in 2017. They did go up 2-0 last year and won the series against the Vegas Golden Knights. But that's it. They don't go up 2-0 very often, right? Not something they do. They barely, and you know why? Because they rarely win game one. So there was a stretch there where they had lost 9 consecutive game ones. But last year they did win a few. They beat Florida, ultimately lost the series, but they also won game 1 against Vegas, beat them in 5. Lost game 1 to Dallas, but then won 4 in a row. So you go up 2-0. It's not something we've seen very often because they haven't been in this position. Usually they're in a position where they need to win game 2, and today would just make it much, much easier if they can get the win. And hey, Clement got the single, and the Jays are tied. Away we roll on a Wednesday afternoon, live at On the Rocks, Jasper Ave and 118th Street. Let's get to the oil report, brought to you by Go Auto. You're looking for vehicles? Best place to shop. GoAuto.ca. Doesn't matter what you want. Cars, trucks, vans, SUVs. They got it. Over 15,000 to choose from at GoAuto.ca. And we know for sure that Josh Szymanski is in the line. Now, before we get to I found out today talking to Josh. Did you know Connor Halley? I didn't know it. I haven't seen it anywhere. But Josh Szymanski is the middle of 7 Szymanski children. He has older brothers Patrick, Tim, and Neil, then Josh. Then he has a younger brother, Noah, and then 2 younger sisters, Lily and Lucy. Noah and Neil were playing together in the 2nd division of pro hockey in Germany this year, but Noah just got promoted to Division 1, and Josh was pretty fired up talking about that today. Lily, his oldest of the younger sisters, she's at Oklahoma on a pole vaulting scholarship. And when they played in Dallas this year, Lily made the 3-hour trek down to visit her older brother. They got to hang out and was having a good chat with Josh about pole vaulting. Had he ever done it? No. He's like, no, too scared to do it. But my pole vaulting's no joke. So pretty talented family. And he is going to be an uncle for the first time. They're expecting their first, his parents' first grandchild coming up later this summer. First time to be an uncle. Comes from a big family. He's pretty fired up about it. But so it's funny. You had Stuart Skinner, who was the youngest of 9. That's pretty rare. Now you got Szymanski, who's right smack dab in the middle of 7 Szymanskis. And so the game will start at 8:20 Edmonton time tonight. That's 4:20 in Germany at home. And I asked him, well, who's going to be up to watch? He goes, I think Mom and Dad. He wasn't really sure yet. And he goes, I'm not sure about all my siblings, but I had the Oilersnation German order. He's like, no, they're all going to be watching. It's a pretty big deal, man. It's your first playoff game. First playoff game for him, so they will be likely watching. A lot of people in Germany. Obviously, there's lots of German fans due to Leon Draisaitl. You throw in Josh Szymanski, and now even more reason for some of the Germans to get up a little bit earlier. And the head coach, Chris Knobloch, just what he's seen from Szymanski in his role and someone that he trusts.
We've been very happy with him all year. We anticipate him being an Oiler in the future. We weren't really expecting it to be so fast. More down the road, maybe next year. But since he came to training camp, he had an outstanding camp and caught our attentions immediately. And then he went down to Bakersfield, played some American League games, obviously, and played very well down there, and more of a defensive role. And, when we needed players, we called them up. I believe that was in January, and came up and played a few games and fit it right in. And the offensive wasn't there, but just somebody that the coaching staff felt really comfortable on the ice. And I think a lot of it is just he's wired to play good defensive hockey. And, he was never going to hurt us when he was on the ice. Now, as he's played more games and had more responsibilities, he's felt more comfortable with the puck and making more plays. And I know he really took off during a stretch when he was playing with Savvy and Roslovic, and that line was really good. And yeah, and then at the end of the year, got in some more games and playing more with Doc and Freddie. And yeah, I think his biggest strength is his skating.
So we'll see Josh Szymanski tonight. Knobloch was asked about a rarity and an oddity in McDavid's struggling last game on zone entries on the power play, and why he expects that to correct itself.
Anytime I see Connor do something maybe not at his best, it usually doesn't last very long. He usually finds a way to correct it. And as good as Connor is, he's not always perfect, but his times when he doesn't play his best doesn't last very long and usually turns it around. And last game, yeah, I could see the frustration with him on the entries. Once we got set up, we had some looks, but I think just there should be a lot of credit to Anaheim. They did a great job of making it hard for us to get into the zone. But I think with us maybe making some adjustments, and usually Connor's making those plays. The other night, they were able to get their stick on puck and break those up, but more often times than not, he's making those. So, tonight we'll see if we have to make some big adjustments.
And the Dickinson line, how did he evaluate that whole line as a whole? If you look at the goals for, unreal. If you look at possession numbers, maybe not so much. How does he evaluate it?
It was tough to really evaluate how every line went because we lost Rico very early in the game, and the lines weren't rolling together. There's a lot of mixing. Freddie and Doc, for example, had numerous centermen, and even Dickinson's line was made. All of them got mixed up. So, I don't think we're gonna. Each and every line can go out there and dominate. I think there's going to be other lines that are going better than others, and maybe we have to make adjustments as the game goes on. But I'd like to, tonight, hopefully we can keep our 12 forwards intact.
And that's going to be the only really question when the game starts is who's the 12th forward? Is it going to be Jason Dickinson? Is it going to be Curtis Lazar? We know Szymanski's in for sure for Henrique. Dickinson didn't skate this morning. Lazar just took a spot on the line of the line rushes, but then Lazar was off the ice quickly, which is normally not the case for guys who are scratched. Now, maybe they were just doing that because they're not sure if Dickinson's playing, but I asked Mike Rupp about that. He goes, usually in the morning. It's not like there's like some 7-hour cure that's going to magically change things from, 11 o'clock until, well, I guess it's 9 hours, but warm up earlier, you know what I mean? So I kind of have a sneaking suspicion we might see Lazar in the game. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just reading too much into a guy getting off the ice early. I've been covering the league for a long time, and you don't see that very often now. And just Chris Knobloch is not Jay Woodcroft. I remember when Jay Woodcroft used to change his lines in warm up to try to get the other team off their game, and all it did was end up. I know his own team, his own players didn't like it. Like, what the hell are we doing? Let's just practice who we are, be confident in who we are, and let's do what we can do. So there we go. Connor McDavid. Any areas he feels they're trying to clean up as a group heading into game 2?
I just thought we got into trouble when we were slow. When our game slowed down, we couldn't keep anything alive and gave up some chances. I think for us we got to play fast. We got to play predictable. We got to play simple. When we got away from that, we got in trouble. When we did do that, we did some good things.
They did quite a few good things. Now, McDavid was asked, were the zone entries more on him, or you got to give the Ducks credit for what they were doing to stop him from entering the zone with as much ease as it normally looks like for him?
That was me just not doing, not being clean enough doing that. That's an area we're obviously very good at, not too concerned about it. With that being said, they threw some different things at us. And we'll adjust.
Yeah, trust me. Like, it's amazing to me how some will be, oh, geez, Connor McDavid. Oh, it's one. Like, the guy's not going to be out of this world every night. And the Oilers won. Like, the Oilers won with a quiet McDavid. Like, I'm actually surprised that's not more of a talking point online amongst the Oiler fans. Like, this is unreal, man. We just won a game in the playoffs, and McDavid was average. It was average. And that's okay, because in the playoffs, all that matters is you win. It doesn't matter how you might have to win 7-6 one night. You might have to win 1-0 one night. You might win 8-2. It doesn't matter. All you got to do is win. It's really, if that's what for me sometimes makes it more fun. I think there's some people that overanalyze in playoffs. Well, this might happen. Might. What happened last game? The Oilers started great, had a brutal second period, great bounce back in the third, won the game. Kapanen, huge. Dickinson, huge. Connor Ingram, 2 big saves. Jake Wallman, very good game. Draisaitl, after being off for 5 weeks, played very well. There's way more positives than negatives. But the one, it wasn't really a negative, because it's not like they got lit up and got outscored. The one surprise was that Connor McDavid had a kind of pedestrian, quiet game. And they won. So I look at that and say, I see the Oilers, and they're in a great position tonight. Now you got to go out there. The Ducks, hey, they're a young team. They feel confident in how they played. But the thing about the playoffs is, each game, it gets slightly a little bit harder. Because if the Oilers are smart, and I think they are, I think we saw this last year. The Oilers, after sleeping for 2 games against the Kings, said, okay, enough's enough. And then they went 12-2. They got all the way to Stanley Cup final. But they rolled over Vegas, and they rolled over Dallas, and they really rolled over LA in the final 40 games, although they got some help. I'll still never understand that coach's challenge. Never made any sense to me. But nonetheless, the Oilers right now, there's zero reason to be concerned, I would think, in that. The captain was asked about the youngster, Josh Szymanski, who will make his playoff debut tonight.
He's really, really solid. Really, really good in his own end. His attention to detail is really good. Nothing bad seems to happen when he's on the ice. So that's a great way to get into the league. Build from your net out.
And McDavid was asked, the Oilers in the third period, they were trailing, and you got to push, but they pushed without taking too many glaring risks. That's just something he feels this group has learned, that fine line of how to push without taking the egregious or make the egregious mistake or take a huge risk.
Well, we understand that you have 20 minutes to score 1. You can't give it all away in the first 5 minutes or first 10 minutes. Because if they find a way to get another one, you're in a really tough spot. So you got to find a way to hold them and take your shots when you get them. And I thought we did a very good job of that.
And lastly, Connor Ingram, first playoff victory. He seemed to just continue off where he was in the regular season.
Yeah, obviously, he's been really, really good and was solid for us in game 1 and gave us some very timely saves. Goaltending isn't about making all the saves; it's about making the right ones, and he made all the right ones.
Yeah, it's true. When we come back, we got your Remchuk. We are also going to get into the that Minnesota-Dallas series. Quite intrigued by that. So lots of hockey playoffs to get to on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Coming alive at On the Rocks, Jasper Ave, and 118th Street. Your place to watch the game tonight, of course. You can make a reservation. They always leave a few tables open, but you want to secure your spot to reservation. 69-cent wings. They got score and win and get paid every time the Oilers score a goal. So lots of opportunities, and it's going to be infinitely warmer in here than it will be outside tonight.
One app, triple the action. Play Alberta is proof that good things do come in threes. Whether you're into playing any of our exciting casino games, betting on your favorite professional sports teams from around the world, or buying into Canada's biggest lotteries, Play Alberta is the province's only app to do it all. Download today and discover a new way to play.
Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Oodle Noodle origins. In 1864, Francis Oodle took over his dying father's business as a leatherman. He was quite proficient, but his heart was never truly in the trade. After his father's death, Udall met a cocksure young man named Vladimir Nudel, who was a trailblazer in the popular new art of food boxes. They formed a partnership and aimed to ply their trade in the New World. At Ellis Island, Nudel was renamed David Noodle, and henceforth, the franchise has been known as Udall Noodle.
What a performance by Action Electrical today. Their projects team kicks things off, designing and building with unmatched skill.
Then the service team swoops in for those crucial repairs and maintenance. And don't forget the testing team, ensuring everything's safe and sound before the solar team scores with sustainable energy.
A complete team effort. Have Action Electrical bring home a win for you and your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
It's Truck Month at Wolf GMC Buick, and we know trucks. And we have the best deals of the year right now. Some have 0% for 4 years. We have 0% for 6 years. That's on our #1 selling GMC Sierra half-ton crew cab, or the Elevation, the AT4, or Denali. Yep, 0% for 72 months. And Costco members get an extra discount on some of our SUVs. Pop in today and drive away smiling. Wolf GMC Buick. We're making it easy.
You see it? Fusion Promo Marketing can make it. Fusion makes high-quality, memorable promotional products for businesses, sports teams, and corporate events. From vision to reality, get noticed and remembered. Fusion with a Z. Promomarketing.ca.
Who's that working on the underground utilities over there? All-Star Construction, that's who. What about the street lighting? Yep, All-Star Construction. And the directional drilling, hydrovacking, neighborhood renewal, and telecommunication work? Yep. Since 2009, All-Star Construction has been doing all that and more, shaping and building Edmonton communities for land developers all around Edmonton. That's what All-Star Construction is all about.
This May, look for your census letter in the mail. The information you provide helps plan services in your community that support employment, transit, education, healthcare, and more. It's easy to fill out and completely confidential. Find out more at census.gc.ca. Your census, your community, our future. A message from the Government of Canada.
Have you made your favorite radio station a preset on the new and improved iHeartRadio app? What about your favorite podcast? Whatever you choose, it's as easy as a tap to make a preset. Just tap the app. And with the all-new live radio dial, it's easier than ever to discover new stations you'll love.
Just tap the app.
Plus, a new trending section and the lyrics to your favorite songs. Find out what everyone's talking about.
All new, always free.
Get the new and improved free iHeartRadio app today.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Papa John's. For a limited time, get your favorite large specialty pizza from Papa John's for only $19.99. Use code LSPEC at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by playalberta.ca.
.322, welcome back. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley, Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, Instagram, Twitch. Hello to all the Twitchers. So that's what it's called. Twitchies, Twitchers, not sure. Keep twitching, whatever you do. Thanks for watching. Oilers, Ducks tonight. I do want to talk about one thing with our next guest in a second, but did you watch the Sabres game last night? Did you see Josh Allen? He's out there, he's banging the drum, he's crushing the beer. The Sabre fans are going bananas. Like, I love it. Like, to me, that's what you should be doing, interjecting, across Buffalo fans. Like, obviously, Buffalo hasn't been in the playoffs forever, and but the Sabres, when they were, they always had a real diehard fan base. And it's interesting, they were showing the TV numbers on, for which state had the most viewership. And when you're talking Olympic hockey, all these other big hockey events, the Four Nations, it's Buffalo's really been number one. So while their team hasn't been good, that doesn't mean their fans aren't good. And for them to get back into it, it's great. That I noticed the NHL even mic'd up a few Bills players who were sitting in the crowd, and guys who maybe don't know hockey that much, but were just like, God, this atmosphere is unbelievable. And they loved it. Like you look at if Tampa Bay Lightning had some Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the game who didn't really know hockey at one of the first two games against the Habs, they'd probably be like, oh my God, this game is unreal and it's crazy. You love it. Like football is an emotional game, right? High intensity. And then you see it at hockey and it's just faster, right? Obviously, the collisions look bigger because there's more speed involved in lots of them, right? But you don't have like the pounding on the line every time, which is still hellacious because it's 300-pound guys, sometimes more going head to head. It's wild. But I always like watching. I think those are good things, but you could see why Bills fans love Josh Allen, and he played it up perfectly to get him fired up. So
yeah.
Pulled out the old Steve Austin.
And we've seen it, I thought Carolina did it with Xavier Legette of the Panthers. We've seen it with the Dolphins and the Panthers of on the ice. And it's awesome. I'm not going to make any jokes that I saw going around online about the postseason and what Josh Allen has going on, because I know our next guest, big fan. The guy beside me is a big fan. And I'm a Chargers fan, so we won't.
Why? What's happening in his offseason?
Well, it was just a postseason. What typically what happens with Josh Allen in the postseason?
The Bills,
they lost the game.
Win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that is true.
Low hanging fruit, though.
Yeah, it's true. Let's go in the room. Brought to you by Action Electrical, where you can take action on your savings. If you've been thinking about solar, well, now's the time to do action, not thinking. Go to actionelectrical.net and they can walk you through where you can get 30% savings and more, especially if you get it on your commercial building. As Tyler Remchuk from Oilers Nation and Daily Faceoff joins us. Ty, how you doing?
I'm doing good. The other thing I loved about Josh Allen, this is how you can tell this is genuinely who he is. They showed a shot of him up in the suite, and he had the biggest roll of 50-50 tickets I think I've ever seen a single person holding. It's like, yeah, you crush the beer on camera, you bang the drum, but there's something about a guy who goes to a sporting event, no matter how rich you are, no matter how famous you are, got to get in on the 50-50.
Oh, well, you know what? Albertan's 50-50 is a different level to everybody else. I will say that. Like it's clearly generational, because you go to other places, like the Jays have had theirs going on for like a year, and it's like $2 million. And they're like, oh my God, this is $2 million. And I was like, oh, for the game? Like, I was like, wow, that's a lot for the game. The guy's like, what are you talking about, a game? No. This has been going on. I'm like, what? You had that in one game at the Oilers playoff run last year at times. Like, it's just now, and that's not the Oilers, it's the fans. Let's make no mistake about it, right? Yeah. Like, it's the fan base who's really gotten into it. Although I noticed it's gone down ever since people figured out where some of the money's going, unfortunately. But the Oilers kind of won the lottery in game one, where you can get 4 goals and a victory on a night where Connor McDavid is pointless and not even on the ice when the Oilers score a goal. Like, I don't look at it as a negative on McDavid. I look at it as a big positive for the team.
Yeah, I agree with you on that front. Like, did the Ducks do a good job shutting him down? Yes. If there's one guy who I fully think can, recover from a tough game like that, and even if the Ducks did figure something out, I think Connor McDavid's the one guy who he can watch the film and learn how to adjust. So I think if you were to ask the Ducks, like, hey, there's going to be a game in this series where you hold McDavid pointless, they would probably all tell you, like, ooh, then that's probably a game we need to win. I know John Carlson in his post-game interview kind of said something along those lines. So for the Oilers, it's a massive positive that you were able to, one, blow a 2-goal first period, or blow a 2-goal lead after the first period and still come back to win. Have a night where your power play goes 0 for 3, which in the games in last year's playoffs, I looked up the numbers. In games where they had at least 3 power play opportunities, they scored a goal in 75% of those games. So again, if Edmonton can get some power plays like they did last game, Connor McDavid should be able to get a few points. Hopefully, like, we all know the game 1 numbers with this team. Hopefully this was just the Oilers stinker, was that second period. But I'm a believer that, whether you lose 6-1 or you lose 4-3, like, momentum doesn't really carry over. But where, again, I do think you can read something into that game from a Ducks perspective is, the way it went, Edmonton being sloppy for at least 20 minutes in the second period, McDavid being pointless, that one might have been the one you were supposed to win in this series.
Oh, it's definitely one. Now, I talked to a lot of their players, and, 13 players, 12 skaters, and the goalie Dostal making their NHL playoff debuts. and various degrees. You've got at the top end, Leo Carlsson. He was phenomenal. And then you have Cutter Gauthier, who was 6th in the NHL in shots on goal this year. He had 1 shot on goal, and I didn't really notice him in the game. So obviously, they're going to want more from Cutter Gauthier, but I'll say this about Carlsson, man. He's the guy that I'm the Edmonton Oilers. You got to be paying attention to him on the ice. And he still played his most minutes against McDavid. It wasn't the most minutes a Duck player played against McDavid. That was Tim Washy, who had played 640, but it was Carlsson. His most minutes was against the McDavid line, but in 3.5 minutes, the few times he got out against Dickinson and Roslovic, that's when they had their success. So, there wasn't a ton of heavy matching in this game 1, and I'm not sure it's going to change in game 2. Everybody's got to be prepared. So who's ever out there against Carlsson, you got to be prepared, man. That guy is a load.
Yeah, him and Seneca, again, young players, but just physically, they're probably a bit more mature than a lot of guys their age. But I just think of those two as they kind of grow into their mid-20s and their late 20s when they learn to play with that size, when they are bigger and stronger than they are right now, which is kind of hard to believe. Those two guys are going to be an absolute handful in the Pacific Division. And in game 1, they had 16 shots on goal between the two of them. The Ducks as a team only had 28. Those two players, which again, eat up a good chunk of their top 6, those two players had more than 50% of the shots that the Ducks generated in that game. And Leo Carlsson, he was very close to being the hero in game 1. If it wasn't for that really strong save by Connor Ingram when the game was 3-3, this thing could have totally flipped. So yeah, Carlsson looked like a guy who was in no way fazed by the bright lights of the playoffs or the raucous atmosphere at Rogers Place. And if there's one thing to be worried about from an Oilers perspective, it's if that's how that guy looked in game 1, you just wait till maybe he has another statement game in this series and finds the back of the net.
Yeah, it was those two and Troy Terry. They combined for 21 shots. The defense in Anaheim only had 2 shots on goal. The Oilers defense had 11. And that was the one thing coming out of the Ducks room today. They feel like they got to get more traffic. Connor Ingram didn't have to battle around a ton of screens. And they've got a big team. But they didn't put pucks back to the blue line and then, create traffic in front and get some screens and, some rebounds. Look, the Oilers had 2 rebound goals. Now, both of those shots, Ekholm was wide open due to the fall, and then Kapanen was able to walk right in, and then Bangholm was, well, not Bangholm, but bounces rebound off a stick and going to juggle it and then put it home. But the Oilers had 2 goals off of rebounds, and the Ducks, that was the one thing they were talking about today, is they feel they want to challenge Ingram more and try to get more traffic, which will lead to the Oilers trying to eliminate. They're going to have to be as good as they were, because I thought they kept a lot of the Ducks players away from their goalie in game 1.
Yep, they did do a pretty good job of that. And you talk about, shooting for rebounds and putting pucks on net. The goal that Leo Carlsson did score was kind of exactly that, right? You shoot low for the pads. You never know how it's going to shoot out. You force the goalie to drop down into his butterfly. And then Carlsson was the recipient of the bounce that kind of came right to him, and he cashed it in. So I think on both sides, for the Oilers, you mentioned the 11 shots. Some of them I felt like were maybe taken when there wasn't enough traffic in front. That's not necessarily on the D-men. That's maybe more on getting some forwards to the front of the net. Because like you said, Dickinson goal, Kapanen goal, the second Dickinson one and the first Kapanen one, I should say, those were direct results of you go to the front of the net, and if Lucas Dostal is going to make a mistake and kick it to the wrong area or juggle a puck, you got to be there to take advantage of it. So that is one thing. Darnell Nurse had, I think, 3 shots get blocked at 5-on-5. Evan Bouchard, I think, had 3 shots get blocked as well. There might have even been one more D-man who hit shin pads 3 times for the Oilers. You got to find the lanes, and you need the forwards to be going to the front of the net, because, again, in the playoffs, it's not going to be the fancy toe drag a guy, walk in and score. It's going to be gross, grimy goals that you score from a foot in front of the net.
Tyler Remchuk joins us. What's your gut tell you about Dickinson?
Yeah, I'm on the same boat as you, where Curtis Lazar wouldn't leave at the same time as all the other regulars if he didn't.
Hell, he left before most of them. I counted. He was the 6th guy off the ice.
That doesn't happen unless a guy has it in his brain or has been told, prepare like you are playing tonight. The one reason why I think I'll stay a bit more optimistic on Dickinson is just the fact that he played until late in that game. It's not like he left in the second period, then we didn't see him again. So the fact he was able to play late until the final few minutes of the game, that kind of leads me to believe that there is a legitimate shot that he's good tonight. So I know you were talking about Rupp's comments that there's not a magic elixir you can take 7 hours before the game and magically you're like, all right, I'm ready to go. But it just might be something that they're monitoring. So as much as it's a fence-sitting answer, it might be a legit, true game time decision. And they just wanted Curtis Lazar to like, hey, prepare like you're playing tonight. You're going to take warm-ups and all that stuff. Because the last thing you'd want is for him to gas himself at the skate because he stays out with the extras. And then Dickinson takes warm-up and it's like, oh, actually, he's not as good as we thought. Curtis Lazar, you got to go. So I'm going to choose to stay optimistic and say that because he played right till the end of the game, he'll be good to go for this one.
If he can't go, Nugent Hopkins will play center. I asked Chris Knobloch, and he did confirm that with me, that it would be Nugent Hopkins centering that line. And that's one where, we'll see kind of some different combinations because, the Nugent Hopkins and Rosovic were the two forwards I felt of all the Oiler forwards. Who now, not every player is going to have a great game, but those are two guys that I think they'd like to get a little bit more from tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you mentioned, Cutter Gauthier on the Anaheim side is a player who I think they definitely want to get a little bit more from in this game. I think there's a few of those guys in Edmonton, and not players who I think had like egregious, horrible games. I'm really not sure Edmonton had someone like that in their game one lineup. But, Matt Savoy, I felt like for the first half of the game, you probably wanted a little bit more out of him. He's going to stick on the top line with Connor McDavid. Didn't notice Zach Hyman a lot in that hockey game. Roslovic and Nugent Hopkins, both certainly in that conversation. Nugent Hopkins is a part of the power play that went 0 for 3. On the blue line, again, like nothing where I'm pointing the finger being like, oh, these guys or this guy is the reason that, the Oilers fell apart in the second period. But I felt like after the penalty Darnell Nurse took, he was starting to run around a little bit, almost like caught up in the playoff atmosphere, trying to make up for his mistake by like laying a big hit or waiting an extra second to see if a lane could open up. And it's like, there were just enough guys on Edmonton who I felt like didn't have their A game. They maybe had their B- game. So again, in the name of fairness and not being biased, Anaheim's got a few of those guys too that could step up. But you go down that list in Edmonton, I bet you there were more than 2 or 3 players who, when they were putting their head on the pillow on Monday night, were like, that wasn't my best tonight. And yeah, Roslovic's a guy who can change the game with one shot. He could be, a ghost for 5 periods, but then he gets a look in the offensive zone. He rips one home and you're like, oh, look at the impact he's made on this series already. So he's an interesting one to watch today from that perspective. And Nugent Hyman on the power play, I think, are two guys who, again, the zone entries, they got to flip something here. You can't just beat your head against the wall and keep running McDavid up the middle, because Anaheim clearly has a plan to deal with that. You got to try find some other avenues to get set up in the offensive zone, and those two guys should play a role in that.
Yeah, the one thing about the Oilers, like if there's an area of their game I never get too concerned about, it's their power play.
Yeah.
They could go over 10 in a row, and then all of a sudden they'd reel off 5 of the next 10. You'd be like, oh, all right, they're still pretty good. I do think that they will adjust that for sure. Yeah. I think McDavid was kind of force it a little bit. I thought Matt Savoy, there was a little bit of nerves, which is to be expected. A rookie guy. And, he'd have the puck, and I thought at times he was trying to get it to McDavid very quickly, even when it wasn't there. But in the third period, he got back to being the guy where he used his speed. He had one shift where he had 3 turnovers, hemmed them in. That was one of their few shifts where they had an extended ozone time, and that's what he does very well. So I agree with you. I thought that whole line, they weren't bad, but they definitely left you with the ability to say, hey, they're capable of way more coming into game 2 and the rest of the series. And that's why it's good news for the Oilers. Like, it's a good situation for this team, because it doesn't happen very often that you can get victories when Connor McDavid not only not getting points, but not really being a factor. Like, there's some nights where he'll blow, and he has these momentum changing shifts and great chances, and but they didn't have any of that. And something tells me McDavid, historically, there's a lot of pride in his game that he will come out tonight to say, hey, I'm not doing that 2 nights in a row.
Yeah, last year, you go back, he was held pointless in 4 games in the playoffs. One of them was the last game when they were eliminated against Florida. But in each of those other 3 games where he was held pointless, he rebounded the next game with at least 1 point. In 2 of those games, he actually got multi-points. And he also had at least 4 shots in each of those games as well. So I think that kind of shows you when he's shut down or he feels like he doesn't have his best, he usually comes out with a bit more of a shooter's mentality as well. So I'll be looking for that tonight. Like McDavid, not that he wants to force it, because you're right, that was part of the issue on the power plays. I think he was frustrated and just like, okay, I'm just going to wheel my way through these 3 guys and kind of do it myself. But I wouldn't be surprised if tonight McDavid has a little bit more of a shooter's mentality.
What other series has grabbed your attention the most thus far?
I'll be honest, like a pretty good chunk of them. The one that's been a letdown has been Pittsburgh-Philly. I thought I would be way more invested in that one, but Pittsburgh just kind of looking as slow as they has taken me out of that. Utah-Vegas is probably the one that, like, I was excited for game 1. watched game 1 and was like, all right, can we start game 2 like right now? I think the dynamic of Utah being this fast up-tempo team, Vegas being a bit on the slower side, more veteran, they want to try clutch and grab you to a certain extent. They take a lot of penalties, they get away with a lot of infractions, and I was curious if that would start to maybe frustrate the Mammoth, who again are young and inexperienced. I can't take my eyes off that series. The first game was full of like hate and scrums. The second game, it felt like Utah almost said like, all right, we can't try to play like the Vegas Golden Knights. We just need to play with our speed, trust our offensive attack, and not get caught up in all of the extracurriculars. And I felt like they did that really well. Like you watch that game winner and Dylan Guenther flies down the wing to set up low. It eventually ends with Logan Cooley finding the back of the net, but it's Guenther who flies in on the zone entry and you're like, whoa, who did he just fly by? Like Lausanne or Anderson? No, he flew past Shea Theodore on that game-winning goal. So I think the speed of Utah is going to continue to be an issue for Vegas, and that's one that I kind of had picked to go 7 games, and I'm feeling pretty good with that prediction because, again, the margins have been razor thin through the first 2.
Ty, should be a good game. Should be some other good games. That Dallas series, we're going to talk about that next with our next guest, and then also Pittsburgh and Philadelphia. The Penguins could go down 3-0. If they do that, it's good night, Irene. You lose tonight for the Penguins. It's only a matter of time before that one is officially over. So we'll see. Enjoy it. As always, appreciate your time.
Yep. Thanks, Greggs.
Tyler Yaremchuk from Oilers Nation and Daily Face-Off. And, man, the Jays tied. They were down 3-0. They scored 3 in the top of the 7th and then gave up 4 in the bottom of the 7th. So not looking great for them to win 4 in a row. We will come back, and another series that has caught my eye anyway is that Dallas-Minnesota series. The Wild are back at home, looking to take a 2-1 series lead. We'll talk about line changes, roster line adjustments, and more when we return on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
At Booster Juice, doing good tastes really good too. From now until April 26th, every purchase of a Mood Booster Ball will help support the Community Booster Fund. So while you're enjoying a Mood Booster Ball made with caramel, marshmallows, and peanut butter, you're also supporting athletics, community, and educational initiatives across Canada. Let's fuel healthy communities together. For more information, please visit boosterjuice.com. Booster Juice, Canadian born, blending since 1999.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr. Dirk elevates your style game. Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
At GS Construction, we're multitaskers. We've got lots of projects going on all around Edmonton and area. Different teams across the city working towards the same outcome. Installing today what will serve generations to come. It's a rewarding career and the work never stops. That's why GS Construction is always on the lookout for great people to join us. Right now, we're looking for experienced topmen, pipe layers, operators, and surveyors. So if you want to feel valued, empowered, and engaged in your work, visit gsconstruction.ca today.
Actions speak louder than words. Japa Machinery Group puts your construction plan into action with XCMG construction machinery you need. Available for rental or sale. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
Getting your vehicle sparkling clean doesn't have to cost a fortune. Take it into Hughes today and pay just loonies a wash.
Find us at HughesCarWash.com.
Want sports talk on the go?
You can listen to 1440 on the AM dial or stream us on your mobile device through apps like Radio Player, iHeart, and Stingray Music.
Edmonton sports fans,
turn to Sports 1440.
1440.
Want to invest in Alberta's workforce, fill your talent pipeline, and get funding? Careers, the next generation connects employers with motivated, pre-vetted youth through funded internships. Easy, impactful, and risk-free.
When you work with a group like Careers who have experience in that area, they can demystify and navigate all the complex steps and stakeholders that have to be involved.
Visit careersnextgen.ca today.
Got a car you're ready to part with? Find out what it's worth, fast, easy, and totally free at Go Auto. We're talking top dollar trade-ins, whether it's a little worn or still rocking that new car smell. Just a few clicks, and boom, you've got your value. Text value to 780-777-7777 to start. That's value to 780 all sevens. Why, guess what it's worth? Let Go Auto show you the money.
Well, get ready for a silly, hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at ewell.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
Are you overwhelmed by debt and getting non-stop calls from creditors? It can feel like there's no escape. Debt doesn't have to be a life sentence. A single call can turn things around. My name is Parveen Middleton. I'm a licensed insolvency trustee at BDO right here in Edmonton. I can help you become debt-free with a solution just for you. Let's put an end to those calls from creditors together. Call 1-833-BDO-TALK or visit bdodebt.ca to discover your debt-free future.
You probably know Stingray for radio advertising.
What about digital advertising?
Yeah, we do that.
Connected TV?
We do that.
Search and social?
And that.
Programmatic? Digital out of home?
We do it all. Endless digital platforms to connect your business to more customers, to intrigue them, engage them, so they choose your product or service. Get started now at stingraymediasolutions.com and let us help your business grow. We are Stingray. That's what we do.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Leading Edge Physio. From weekend warriors to professional athletes, kids playing soccer to grandparents in the garden, rotator cuff tears and tendonitis to post-surgical knees and hips, we fix your body. Life shouldn't hurt. LeadingEdgePhysio.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
.345 game day continues on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca. Of course, playoffs in the National Hockey League, playoffs in the NBA, as 2 in a row on the road in Detroit, and also the Suns, the number 8 seed, massive underdog. Now, can they win? Can they keep it within 20? Like, honestly, that's how dominant I think the Thunder are. And hey, speaking of dominant, man, give it out to LeBron James. 23 years in the league. Did you see his performance last night? Luka Doncic is out. They got all these guys hurt, and here's LeBron coming in at his age and killing it. And they beat the Rockets. Now they're up 2-0 in that series. That's a pretty impressive game by the Lakers, and specifically by LeBron James. So, like it. Tonight, playoff action, 3 games in the NHL, Ottawa and Carolina. And now this will start for lots of different series, not everyone, but an extra day's rest between games. And we are seeing that start tonight. So Carolina and Ottawa will not be playing, but there will be, of course, 3 games tonight. Flyers hosting the Penguins, the Oilers, the Ducks, and in between, the Dallas Stars will be in Minnesota to take on the Wild. That series is knotted up at 1. The Wild spanked them in game 1. Dallas came back pretty much in a must-win situation. Can't go down 2-0 at home. In the best of 7, you rarely win. You've only ever won once, in fact, to do that. So Joe O'Donnell joins us, the voice of the Wild. And Joe, I'll say this: game 1 was pretty much all Minnesota. Game 2, though, the physicality it increased. The desperation from Dallas definitely increased, which means, Minnesota added to it. Let's, I guess, start. Is Trenton going to play tonight?
It's a good question, Jason. John Hines said game time decision. I truly believe that to be the case. There was an optional skate for the Wild today, so it was really hard to get a gauge on who could be in, who could be out, what the line combos will be, because Matt Zuccarello and Yakov Trenton both did not skate this morning.
Now, Zuccarello, do you have a better sense of what his is?
Well, the elbow from Tyler Myers in game one was what we kind of thought when all of a sudden he wasn't in the lineup game two. He did skate, as far as I know, prior to game two at morning skate, and then just wasn't in the lineup, when they took the ice for warm-up. So kind of got wind of that very late, close to game time, that would be the case. And then, just talking with some folks around the Wild, one of the first things that Ryan Carter brought up to me was, hey, that elbow in game one, that was a penalty on Myers, first power play of the game. The Wild scored on it. Zuccarello finished the game, finished with 3 assists, didn't play game two, didn't skate again today. So, there is the 2-day break after game 3 and 4, which would put Saturday 1 week from game one. Game 4 would be 1 week from game one. So, my hope is personally, if Zuccarello can't play tonight, that maybe he's back, on Saturday for game 4.
Now, you look at, and obviously he's a loss for the Wild, no question, but the playoffs, you got to win with guys being out. That's just how it goes for every team. You look, game one, lots of things went well for them. Eriksson Ek, Boldy, all their big guys were gone. Now they're back at home. Are there any matchups you think the Wild are going to try to get tonight?
Well, John Hines has always talked about, he cares more about the D pairs as far as the matchup goes, right? So can you get Brodin and Spurgeon out there against the guys you want them going up against for Dallas? And then the same for Hughes and Faber. That's where he's always felt more comfortable. Honestly, since the acquisition of Quinn Hughes, you could say that's the strongest suit of the Wild. They have one of the better top sixes, I would think, across the NHL with Hughes and Faber, Spurgeon and Brodin. And so I think that will be something John Hines will look at is, which D pairs does he want against, the Duchesne line? Which ones does he want against Wyatt Johnston in that group? And then let the chips fall where they may from there. I will say that Hines has not been typically a guy that chases matchups. He's got an idea of what he wants going in, likes the players to play, but he will, he has told us that if there's something that's not going well, especially at home, he'll make a quick adjustment.
Yeah, well, Wyatt Johnston and Robertson, hey, they're the two guys you got to slow down, right? They each have 2 goals now, but they're on separate lines. I would think the Johnson-Rantanen one, that's probably, I'm going to guess, who you'd like Brodin's line out against. And then if you're Hughes and Faber, you put them out against Duchesne and Robertson, who doesn't necessarily have the reputation of being like a dynamic defensive player, like most offensive guys. The best way to thwart them is to force them to have to play defense more.
Yeah, it's going to be offensive zone time. It's going to be the Wild's forecheck. We knew that going into the series. If you listen, or kind of even watch, if you listen to the coaching staff, or if you watch the first 4 games in the regular season between these two teams, there's a lot talked about the Wild's forecheck. I thought it was excellent in game 1. Game 2 probably, did some things well, especially early on, but just some of the details with the F2 and just like, some of the physical play the Wild initiated, just being a little bit smarter there. Like, you don't have to run a guy through the end glass to make an impact on the forecheck. So I think some of smart compete is what John Hines told me this morning. That's what he wants from his group tonight. It'll start with that forecheck, and hopefully they can get some big hits and create some turnovers, get some scoring chances, and get the crowd into it early.
What do you make of the theory that, it's a big game for the Wild because the Stars might be getting Rupe Hintz back later on. And obviously when he comes back, that's going to make that team better, no question. But so you need to be up in the series whenever he returns. You buy into that theory?
Well, I mean, it would certainly be helpful, but I'm also, just having more so, honestly, Jason, spending so much time in the minors and being a little bit closer to how organizations operate and guys being injured and all that stuff. Like, usually a guy's got to skate on his own, no matter what the injury is. Then normally they got to jump back into a practice or 2, unless they're an absolute, like, for instance, Jonas Brodin. That guy almost never needs to practice. He could be out 6 weeks, and I feel like he jumps back in, plays 26 minutes. You never knew he was out. Not all guys are like that. So I don't know if Rupe Hintz doesn't need a full team practice. This time of year, you don't get many of those anyway. I just find it hard to believe if the Stars are being forthcoming that he hasn't really skated on his own to this point yet. Maybe he did today. Maybe he did yesterday. But as of like game 2, the morning up, he hadn't skated yet after whatever setback he must have incurred because we know he was ramping up tail end of the regular season. So to me, if I'm looking at this, like, I can't see Hintz back before game 6 or game 7, and then what kind of Rupe Hintz are you getting at that point, depending on what the injury is and what percentage he'd be at. So I'm a little bit more of the fact that I think that we won't see him until game 6. maybe later. But again, I don't have any insider info there, just going off of what I've seen over the years of guys that are coming back from injury. You know, they tend to need a couple days by themselves, then a day or two with the team, and then they can reacclimate.
Yeah, no, that is totally fair. Looking at, the Hughes acquisition and obviously what it meant to that team offensively, for sure, he's helped out. Matt Boldy, though, kind of quietly maybe gets overlooked by just how good of a season he's had and what a key player he's become to this Minnesota Wild team. And, he's kind of unique because he's a bigger body. So not only can he score you 40 goals, he can play a real kind of power forward type game, and how important that is for that Wild team.
I think he's very much undervalued across the NHL. Obviously, getting more recognition because of the Team USA gold medal game performance, and but just watching him develop and kind of grow the last few years. He's now a penalty killer, which he wasn't early in his career for, probably a number of different reasons. But now they trust him on the PK a lot. He's so good at puck protection. He has elite hand-eye coordination and stick skills. We know he's got great speed. He's got 11 shots in the first 2 games of this series, like not just attempts, but on net. In fact, going back to last year's series against Vegas in Game 6, the last game for the Wild in their season, he's now got 5+ shots in 3 straight playoff games. So he's a guy that wants the puck on his stick. He's not afraid of the big moments. Since he broke in, he's been able to score big goals. And now that I feel like, his first year or two in the Stanley Cup playoffs, he was a little, probably trying to feel it out a little bit like most young players, but he is a complete player now, a 200-foot guy, 40+ goals, 40+ assists. In the big moments, he seems to really shine.
Any matchup that has intrigued you the most that you're looking to see more of? Is there a little bit of kind of internal rivalries that have picked up? Because a lot of times, I know we can see the big highlight reel hits and everybody's seen the trend and hit, but there's lots of times, Joe, the TV doesn't catch every little scrum. They go to commercial breaks, or maybe it's guys beaking after the whistle away from the camera. Is there any specific little rivalry inside the games that you're intrigued by watching today?
Well, there's been a bunch of trash talking. You can tell, like, after whistles, to your point, that aren't always caught on broadcast TV. Sam Steele spent a season with Minnesota, has been with Dallas lately. There's a lot of jawing between Marcus Foligno and Sam Steele back in Game 1. It felt like the Wild, to be honest, they started the series on time. And Dallas, for whatever reason, wasn't ready for Game 1. So a much different and better Dallas Stars team in Game 2. What I look for tonight is, can the Wild come out, set the tone in this hockey game, try to stay 5-on-5, because, I think they like their chances in those situations. Dallas was a great 5-on-5 team in the regular season, but Minnesota was no slouch in that department. And then it's just that controlled emotion. Like, be physical, be energetic, but stay out of the darn penalty box. They do that. Alstead makes some early saves to kind of ease himself into this game. I think it'll be a great one tonight.
Joe, we appreciate it, man. Look forward to it. Any other series that you've been watching with interest the most outside of the one you're calling?
Yeah, I'm a little biased because I grew up outside of Philadelphia, and I got a lot of family and friends that are huge Flyers fans, so they're pretty pumped up for the first game with fans in Philly for a playoff game, I think, since 2018, the bubble notwithstanding there. That one is obviously, I got an eyeball on that series. And then, out west, I really, really think that that Utah-Vegas series I'm kind of intrigued by for a number of reasons. The new coach, Carter Hart, net for Vegas, right? You got Tortorella in there, and Hart now kind of, when we saw Vegas last, it was still Aiden Hill as the number one. And Utah is a team that gave the Wild some trouble this year. We know they can score goals, and being such a kind of a young team in the playoffs, keep my eye on that one as well.
Awesome, man. We appreciate it. Joe, enjoy the call. The game should be an electric atmosphere in Minnesota tonight.
Anytime. Thanks, brother.
Joe O'Donnell joining us from Minnesota, the Wild. So they got a few injuries. Zuccarello's out. Trenton, I don't know. Did you guys see that hit? Oh, did he get popped? Clean hit, though, but hard hit. And we're starting to see it. Like, hey, Zach Hyman in Game 1, he got popped by Jackson Lacombe. You're starting to see that as the playoffs go along, man, there's just the intensity and those big hits like that Blackwell Trenton hit. Oh, my God. Like that, anybody who's played, maybe you've experienced that one. You're going and somebody just hits you and it stops you in your tracks. Like that one is concussion, maybe lose wind, everything else. Now, speaking of injuries, Cons, how concerned are you about the Spurs with Wemby being out? They smacked his face off the floor, and the Spurs lose that game. And if he's got a concussion, well, he's out a week.
Yeah, that one was really scary. I mean, he might have hit his head twice. He went to sleep on that play. I think I would say I'm pretty concerned. Like the Spurs, we'll see. I'm not, the Trailblazers aren't world beaters by any means. So I think they can still find a way to get it all together and going. But that would certainly be a huge loss because that was a very scary incident.
Oh, geez. Yeah. Like the big man going down. It didn't. And like he was on Strange Street right away. You noticed it. So, would hope that he's able to come back, but we'll see. And that could be a huge blow for the Spurs for sure. 3:59, Jason Gregor, Connor Halley. We're live and on the rocks, Jasper Ave and 118th Street. Your place to watch the game tonight. That had a jam-packed full house here on Monday. They had loads of fun. There's lots of prize giveaways every time the Oilers score. Play the score and win, you get paid. And for a fun little Wednesday night, guess what happens right post-game? Karaoke. I always have karaoke Wednesdays, but so they'll delay it till the game's over. And many of you could be singing the night away after a victory. You magically get a second win. Well, the team won. All right, it's Wednesday. It's close to the weekend. Only got 2 days left. I can push through. Nice. So check it out. Jasper Ave 118th. It is the Gregor Show, as always, brought to you by our title sponsor, PlayAlberta.ca. Coming up the next hour, we'll get some stats of the day for you. Derek Lee will join us. The Ducks making some lineup changes on the back end. Radko Gudas is out. Drew Hellingson comes in. We got Spec, DVD, Cam Tate, and more. But first, let's get to the con man and a sports 1440 update brought to you by Fountain Tire. They can meet all your car needs and more with their digital vehicle report. They don't just tell you what your car needs, they will show you. Book yours at today and get some tires. FountainTire.com.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
Game day Oilers Ducks down at Rogers Place. The Oilers will take a 2-0 series lead. Puck drop 8:20. Pregame coverage coming your way with Andrew Walker, Donovan Paulson immediately following the Jason Gregor Show. Elsewhere, Flyers and Penguins at 5 at 7:30 at the Stars taking on the Wild. That series tied at a game apiece. In the association, 2 games tonight. Pistons Magic at 5 and the Suns Thunder at 7:30. And in the majors, Jays falling to the Angels by a score of 7-3. They'll be off tomorrow, kicking off the series against the Guardians in Toronto on Friday. Elsewhere, Athletics up on the Mariners by a score of 3-2. Later tonight, Brewers and Tigers, Nationals, Braves, Yankees get the Red Sox. Mets host the Twins. Phillies head to Chicago for a matchup with the Cubbies, Rockies, Padres, White Sox, Diamondbacks, and the Giants hosting the LA Dodgers in the AJ League Final Game 4. Canmore and Whitecourt. Eagles lead that series 2-1. Puck drop at 7 in the BCHL. Crusaders and Bandits out in Sherwood Park. Puck drop also 7. Brooks leading 2-1. In the PWHL, we've got Ottawa and Boston at 5 and at 8. Minnesota taking on Seattle. Coming up in hour 3 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll get to the stat of the day, ask 5 questions, and talk about the Ducks with Derek Lee of the Hockey News. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440. Stingray Radio Station. CKJR. Broadcasts from West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin.
Download the free Stingray music app and listen wherever you go.
Legacy Heating and Cooling is your supplier of maximum comfort, bringing you the cool AC you need. You just have to call Legacy. Call Legacy. For comfort at night when the hot air suffocates you. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. For comfort in your wallet with no payments or interest for 1 year. Call Legacy. Call Legacy. You deserve comfort. Cool off today with AC from Legacy Heating and Cooling.
You've got a go-to coffee spot, a trusted barber, even a lucky game day jersey. But when it's about looking your absolute best, there's only one name you need. Mr. Dirk. Family run since 1939. We're experts in crafting impeccable tailor-made suits and offering a wide variety of everyday styles. Pair that with personalized one-on-one fittings and the convenience of on-site tailoring. Mr.
After
Dirk,
3
elevate your style
Sports
game.
1440
Visit our Edmonton store or explore MrDirk.com. Score big on style with Mr. Dirk.
Bringing every project to life requires the right team. By joining the Japa Machinery Group service or sales teams, you can be part of setting a new industry standard. celebrating a legacy of excellence with Japa. Learn more at japamachinery.com.
No fluff, no fillers, just pure entertainment. Sports 1440 brings the heat with bold opinions, big personalities, and Edmonton's fiercest fans. This is your turf. This is Edmonton's sports leader, Sports 1440.
Hold on to your hockey helmets, Edmonton. On the Rocks is serving up 69-cent wings that fly off the plate faster than a slap shot. And Molson Canadian and Coors Light for $5.75. Plus, OTR's TVs are so clear, you'll see the puck better than the ref.
That ain't hard, is it?
Score and win every game night during Edmonton's playoff run with specials starting 30 minutes before puck drop and last for the whole game. Be a part of the legend. See the menu at ontherocksYEG.com.
Hi, Mike here from Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Would you like to be a part of history for the month of April? I'm kidding. Or as the kids say, bro, I'm joking. Would you like to help us set a record in April? Chill. Still kidding. At Northgate, we aren't trying to set any records or tell you how many vehicles we sell, and we really don't think you'd care. But what you will care about is this. Every dealer has the same costs. Trust me, GM does not have a favorite kid. You get to decide where you buy. 0% financing, a great selection, and of course, great people. Stop in and see us today, 13215 97th Street, or business online at northgategm.com.
You're in Northgate country.
Nothing beats getting a deal at McDonald's. Why? Because you get a deal now.
And a deal later.
Redeem an offer from the latest mailer or on the McDonald's app and dig into instant savings. Plus, you earn points towards
Free McDonald's.
Now that's what I call
a double whammy of deals.
Why does that keep happening? Deals sent right to your door. Check your mailbox for the latest McDonald's mailer loaded with delicious value. For a limited time at participating restaurants in Western Canada.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's next Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg public unreserved heavy truck auction is this Thursday at 9 a.m. with tandem and single axle trucks, including tractors, decks, dumps, man lifts, backs, pickers, service, shunt, and tank trucks, plus more. Info at maauctions.com.
I'm Dr. Vance Elliott. The goal of every one of the thousands of hair restoration procedures I've performed is a full, natural-looking head of hair. I work directly with my patients for the consultation, the procedure, and the follow-up, so we can achieve the best results possible. When people see what we accomplish, I don't want them to think, wow, great hair transplant. I want them to think,
wow, great hair.
Go to drvanceelliott.com and contact us today.
Missioner Allen Auctioneering's next Calgary, Edmonton, Winnipeg public unreserved industrial auction is this Friday at 9 a.m. featuring Japa equipment rentals, realignment with 5 2022 to 2020 XCMG 250U, 300U, 360U, and 490U excavators. Search Japa at maauctions.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork, made in Canada, made for Canada, where extreme isn't theoretical. Find your solution at cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Oh, now Cons is playing some music. Sick tune, buddy. I love it. Ooh. Maybe later on at karaoke night, someone might bust that one out tonight after an Oilers win, potentially, if they can get a win tonight and see how it goes as the Oilers are up 1-0 in the series. Now, this is only the third time in the McDavid era that the Oilers have started a series on home ice and won game one. They beat LA in the first round of 2024 at home, game one. Then they lost game two, 5-4 in overtime. Last year, Cup final, they win game one. They lose game two in double overtime, 5-4. So tonight will be an opportunity for them to go up 2-0 at home for the first time in the McDavid-Draisaitl era. Welcome back. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province. PlayAlberta.ca. We got some Oiler winning action. Then we got some parlays with Draisaitl and Hyman and Bouchard, even an Ingram Dostal. So check that out, PlayAlberta.ca. The Oiler puck drop expected again around 8:20 tonight. So just plan ahead, plan accordingly. Away you go. We do have coming up in the show, we'll hear from Derek Lee, the Duck side of things. They're going to make a change to their lineup as Derek Lee's our guest, but Radko Gudas will be the one coming out of the lineup tonight for the Anaheim Ducks. He's banged up. Anybody who watched game one, I think, would realize like he wasn't healthy. Now, he only played one of the final 8 games for the Ducks, so he thought he'd try to gut it out. Didn't work. I can't say with certainty, but I do wonder if the lower body injury had anything to do with him, losing his balance that led to Mattias Ekholm steaming down the left side, ripping a shot, and then Dickinson banging home the rebound for what was at the time, the game-tying goal before Kapanen won it with less than 2 minutes remaining. So no Gudas. Drew Hellison comes in. The Oilers, Szymanski's in. Henrique's out with an injury. And Dickinson is going to be a game-time decision. If he can't go, Curtis Lazar will play for the Edmonton Oilers. And if Lazar plays, Nugent Hopkins will be the third-line center, according to head coach Chris Knobloch. Now, let's get to our stats of the day, brought to you by All Star Construction, specializing in underground utility work and power, gas, telecommunications. They also do street lighting, directional drilling, hydrovacing. They shape and build Edmonton communities, and huge fans of the Oilers, saying go Oilers go at All Star Construction. So some of the stats, I tell you, the importance of the game tonight for the Edmonton Oilers. So historically, teams who lead 1-0 in a series when they win at home win the series 74.6% of the time. So pretty good, 368 to 125. Now, Oilers win tonight, that will jump up to 88%, as teams are 270 and 36 when they start a series at home and go up 2-0. It's been a while since the Oilers have done it. Now, in Oilers franchise history, in any series, when they go up 2-0, they're 19-1. Last year, went up 2-0 against Vegas, won that series. Prior to that, I haven't been up 2-0 very often. The last time would have been 2017 when they started up 2-0 on the road, but couldn't hold on to it. Ended up losing that series in 7 to the Anaheim Ducks. I know, you remember it. I know. Tough one, tough, frustrating. The Kessler goal still irks people. I get it. Some would say, hey, guys, they're supposed to be. Great debate. But either way, get a win tonight for the Edmonton Oilers, and it help you. If you're concerned about Connor McDavid, I would temper your concerns. I would take a deep breath. Serenity now. Connor McDavid has only gone pointless in consecutive playoff games 4 times in his career, and 2 of them came in his first year in the first playoff time in the NHL back in 2017, once against the Ducks, once against the Sharks, then against the Jets in 2021, and against the Panthers in 2024. McDavid getting a point tonight, pretty good chance. Mention it, Leon Draisaitl. There's no team he likes. Well, no, it probably does like the Calgary Flames better, considering how many points he had against the Flames in the postseason. He had 16 that year in 5 games. But the Anaheim Ducks, he likes playing the Quackers. Leon Draisaitl, with his 2 points in game 1, now has 15 points in 8 career playoff games against the Ducks. He's had a 5-pointer, a 4-pointer, and 2 2-point games. He has only been held pointless once in his career against the Ducks. So pretty good chance Leon Draisaitl will have himself a solid performance tonight. Some other stats to look for: Leo Carlsson. The Ducks, Carlsson, 10 shots. Troy Terry had 6. Becca Zeneke had 5. So those 3 combined for 21 shots. The rest of their forwards had 5. Their defense had 2. So those 3 had 21 shots. The rest of their team only had 7. Anaheim would like to spread it around a little bit tonight. Meanwhile, the Edmonton Oilers, they had 22 shots on their forwards. They had 11 shots on the defensemen. Bouchard did not get a shot on goal last game. He had a few shots blocked, a few shots missed the net, so it wasn't lack of attempts, but getting in on net. The Oilers, you look forward tonight, they would like, I think, to, as Connor McDavid said, they'd like to generate a little bit more consistent offensive zone time. And they want to play fast. But the Ducks, they want to come out. The Ducks, Joel Quenneville talked about it. It's great that we've been able to come back as often as we have. The Ducks led the NHL this year in comeback wins with 26 of them. It's pretty impressive. But as the coach said, even when, because someone was asked, like, hey, do you want to play how you play when you're leading or trailing, and bring that into when you play from behind? He goes, well, when you play from behind, you got to take some risks. So even though they've been successful at it, they're still taking a lot of risks. And I think that's something, if you're the Edmonton Oilers, against still a younger, inexperienced team, get up on the lead, and you can force them to have to play from behind more. That's a huge advantage. It's a huge advantage. Elsewhere in the playoff numbers to crunch on, the Philadelphia Flyers have put themselves in a great position. You win tonight, it's good night, Irene. Teams who are up 3-0 in a playoff series are all-time 209-4. They're even better when you start on the road and go up 3-0, which would be the Flyers. If they get a win tonight, they're 57-1. Which is a 98.3% winning, compared to overall, it's only 98.1. So slight difference, but still. Win tonight by Philly, and you could say goodnight to Pittsburgh. Now, we thought it would be a foregone conclusion, but it still hasn't happened. Sidney Crosby, he came into this year's playoffs tied with Jaromir Jagr for fifth in playoff points all time with 201. Still waiting. So Penguins would love nothing more than get a win, and would love nothing more to see Sidney Crosby make an appearance in the series. If Jenny Malkin has 2 points, both came in the opening game, because of course they got shut out. But the Pens, they're looking for lots of guys to get going. They only have 2 players, well, 3 who aren't a minus in the series: Ricardo Kell, Parker Wotherspoon, and Jenny Malkin. That's it. Everybody else is a minus, including Chris Letang, who's a team worst -4 for the Pittsburgh Penguins through the first 2 games. The Minnesota Wild, man, Brock Faber has had a hell of a series. 3 points +6 in the 2 games for the Wild. Now, the Wild spanked them in the first game. Second game was a lot closer, but you look at it, Brock Faber's had himself a really good start to the postseason. Joel Eriksson Ek also averaging 2 points a game. Kirill Kaprizov, 2 points a game. The Dallas Stars were in a must-win situation in game 2, and they got it done. Wyatt Johnson, Jason Robertson are leading the way for them. It's interesting. I always like to look at some of the numbers early on in the NHL playoffs to see, any crazy things. Tage Thompson and Andrei Svechnikov and Matt Boldy are all averaging 6.5 shots per game thus far in the National Hockey League playoffs. Zach Hyman had 8 hits in his first game of the postseason, which is tied for the average hits with Yakov Trenin, who has 16 in 2 games. Remember last year, Mr. Zach Hyman? He was absolutely a one-man wrecking ball, where he had 111 hits in only 15 games. And that still led the NHL playoffs, and he didn't even play the final few games against Dallas or against any of the game against Florida. He would have been a record-breaking, and he's off to a similar start. So look for Zach Hyman, very physical. Colton Dach had 7 hits for the Oilers in just over 8 minutes of ice time. And I'm interested to see the coach talked about how Dach and Frederick basically had a different centerman every few shifts due to the Adam Henrique injury. He'd like to keep Szymanski with them all the time. And will that push their minutes up to 10? We shall see how the game goes tonight. Power plays early on. Of course, the Oilers, well, they don't get many power plays anyway. It's just, I know it's an odd thing. When you look at the team and the amount of puck possession time they have, you would think that maybe they should have a few more a few more power plays, but the Oilers, they don't get a ton of power play time. I would argue a little bit is, like their offensive zone possession time is sometimes more on the outside, in my humble opinion, than it is inside. So I'd like to see them go. But the Oilers and the Ducks are both ranked tied for last in playoff opportunities per game so far in the playoffs. Now, they've only played one game, but they've each only had 2 power plays. So that's the fewest in the NHL this year. Buffalo leads with 4.5, as does Montreal and Dallas. LA also up to 4.5 per game so far. So the Oilers and the Ducks, that was, there was the big hit, but there wasn't a lot of animosity in game 1. I think we'll see that increase a little bit tonight. There's your stats of the day, brought to you by All Star Construction. And when we return, we will hear from Derek Lee, talk a little Anaheim Ducks. It is the Jason Gregor Show on Sports 1440, sports1440.ca, YouTube, Facebook, X, and Instagram.
One app, triple the action. Play Alberta is proof that good things do come in threes. Whether you're into playing any of our exciting casino games, betting on your favorite professional sports teams from around the world, or buying into Canada's biggest lotteries, Play Alberta is the province's only app to do it all. Download today and discover a new way to play.
Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
At Booster Juice, doing good tastes really good too. From now until April 26th, every purchase of a Mood Booster Ball will help support the Community Booster Fund. So while you're enjoying a Mood Booster Ball made with caramel, marshmallows, and peanut butter, you're also supporting athletics, community, and educational initiatives across Canada. Let's fuel healthy communities together. For more information, please visit boosterjuice.com. Booster Juice, Canadian born, blending since 1999.
As we all try to figure out when winter will actually stop and spring will finally be here for the season, GS Construction moves ahead with their plans for the year. From planning and digging to laying out underground infrastructure, construction season is limited, so we make every day count. And that's why GS Construction counts on our team to get the job done right. Crews are getting back in action across the city, and we'd like you to join us. We're looking for experienced top men, pipe layers, operators, and surveyors. For more, visit gsconstruction.ca.
For over 50 years, The Brick has been proudly serving Canada. They love to save you more on everything you need for your home. Save up to 60% off made in Canada sofas when you buy the matching love seat or chair. Find patio sets starting at just $99 and save up to 40% off mattresses. Plus, take 5 years to pay with 0% interest on furniture and mattresses. Taxes and fees due at purchase, OAC. Visit a Brick near you for details and exclusions. The Brick, saving you more.
Summer, it's coming. An unstoppable force that will turn your home into the Sweatbox.
Don't live in a summer blockbuster. Pro Solutions is your one-call solves-it-all expert for AC repairs, tune-ups, and new installations. With fast appointments and flexible financing, we'll make sure your home story has a comfortable ending. AC season is coming soon, so book today.
Lock in pre-season pricing today.
Visit prosolutionsinc.ca to schedule your service today.
Looking for a solid 4x4 that checks all the boxes? The 2026 Jeep Compass is in stock now at St. Albert Dodge, and this is a great value, starting from just $36,900. It's a Jeep, so you've got 4x4 capability, plus features like an 8.4-inch touchscreen, Apple CarPlay, active lane management, a park view rear backup camera, and more. Over 30 in stock right now in just about every color you'd want. Head up the trail and see how easy it is to do business at St. Albert Dodge.
I'm Rick Showers from Noble RV, and you'll notice something different about our store compared to the new RV stores. Our lot is full, bursting at the seams with quality used RVs for you to see. The new RV stores, well, their stuff is trickling in. For the most part, they're taking orders for trailers and motorhomes to be delivered at some future date.
At Noble, you can take yours home right away. Right, Rick?
That's right, Bob. Every RV on our lot is ready to go. Bring your truck and you can take it home with you. You could be enjoying the great outdoors this weekend if you want. And because every RV on our lot is one of a kind, it's worth it to take a look around. It's not like we have 20 of the exact same model.
That's what the new RV stores look like.
Not here, Bob. Every single one is different. The perfect used RV for your family is probably on our lot already. Why not pick it up before someone else does?
And that's no fun.
Portions of this hour brought to you by On the Rocks. The playoffs are underway and OTR is ready to be your hockey headquarters. $5.75 Molson Canadian, 69-cent wings, and play score and win every game. See more at ontherocks.yeg.com.
This is Sports 1440, where Edmonton talks sports.
On YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Here's Jason Gregor.
Brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca.
There's always certain songs when you listen to it, just reminds you of something. Well, that one, that's a Forrest Gumper for me right there. Love that. Oh, man, such a great show. Forrest, good dude, man. Good dude. Did a lot of the right things. So for breaking up the Black Panther Party. God, it's classic. Standing up, doing the right thing. Forrest always did. I liked it. Fast runner, could do a lot of stuff, man. He was the most interesting man in the world before Dosaki. Let's be honest about that. I don't think anyone can. It's hard to argue that. Hard to argue. We are live and on the Rocks, Jasper Ave, 118th Street. One of the more interesting men alive, Dr. Wang, who will be here tonight. So not only will you get to watch a great game, if you're looking for some good entertainment, and hosting the Wanger will be here. So check it out. Jasper Ave and 118th Street. It is the Gregor Show, as always, brought to you by PlayAlberta.ca. It is Wednesday. Of course, Lotto 649, $32 million up for grabs. And you can get in on, if you want to do a little parlay action, the Jason Gregor Show odds boosts for you. We got a few, actually four different ones. Check it out. So good luck. Get you some odds boost at PlayAlberta.ca. The Oilers, of course, will be the last game to start tonight. They'll be taking on the Anaheim Ducks, as it's now time to hear from the Anaheim side of things as we get to our playoff report, brought to you by Legacy Heating and Cooling, where the rates never change. No overtime charges. That's how you build a legacy at legacyheating.ca. And Derek Lee from Hockey Now in Anaheim joins us. And Derek, one lineup change. Radko Gudas is out. Drew Hellison comes in, and having seen how Gudas was moving in game one, it's not a real surprise. He tried to gut it out, but clearly he's got an ailment that's carried over from the end of the season.
Yeah, you said it, Jason. It's I think it was Calgary where Gudas kind of had a little nick, and he sat out a couple of games, came back for the Toronto game to kind of get his retribution from the Leafs after that knee on Austin Matthews, and then right back out of the lineup. He's been kind of resting it for last couple of days before the regular season, got in for game one, had that unfortunate spill that led to the game time goal, and then now he's going to be out for, we don't even know if he'll be back for the rest of the series, but he's out tonight.
What are you expecting from Drew Hellison?
Just predictability and stability. That's what Joe Quenneville's looking for. That's kind of Drew Hellison's game. He's really not a flashy guy, just kind of get the puck out, be physical, block shots. That's kind of what Quenneville's looking for from that bottom pair of Tyson Hines and Hellison.
So you look at the Ducks, they had 13 guys to break their rookie game in game one, and various degrees of impact. Obviously at the top end was Leo Carlson, and he played fantastic. And you had some other guys. I thought, man, I really like Tim Washy's game. Are you kidding me? You play that many minutes against Connor McDavid. That was good. What about Cutter Gauthier? What do you make of Gauthier? Like, I know he's on the third line. It's kind of odd to see a 41-goal scorer on the third line. And, like, no offense to Ryan Poling, like, he's not really an offensive guy. Has Gauthier played most of the year on the third line, or is that just a late thing?
Well, it's kind of been a work in progress, because at the beginning of the season, it was Gauthier, McTavish, Seneca, and while they did create a lot, they were giving it a lot back on the defensive end. So that was when Quenneville kind of started mixing things around, trying to add veterans to kind of stabilize the lines a little bit. That's where Paling comes in. You got guys like Jeff Viel, who comes in right before the trade deadline to kind of add that grittiness. And so now it's more of, how can we unlock Leo Carlson? How can we unlock Troy Terry? That's why they've been together on the top line. And when you look at guys like Seneca, he's got reliable veterans with Mikhail Granlund and Alex Killorn on his line. So when you have those guys, and then you got Chris Kreider alongside Leo and Terry as well on the top line, it's kind of unfortunate that guys like Gauthier, guys like McTavish, they're kind of relegated to third line duty. And the way that I've seen is because they can't really match up lines against McDavid drive since they're on the road. So Paling and Washi, those third and fourth lines have kind of been the makeshift lines where they go out, they create energy, and they kind of just try to suppress McDavid, try to suppress Draisaitl as best they can. It opens up areas for Carlson, Terry, Seneca to kind of do their offensive work.
So do you think at home he'll change that matchup? Like, would you want Carlson at home to go head-to-head against McDavid? Because I know Carlson did play his most minutes against McDavid in game one. Washi obviously played the most at 640, and Carlson was at like 530, I think it was. But like Carlson was very good in that game. Big, strong, like everything about him. He reminds me a lot of Leon Draisaitl, really. You know, but he's actually bigger than Leon Draisaitl, which is crazy because Draisaitl's a pretty strong guy. But when you look at it tonight for the Ducks, do you feel that game one was at all a little bit of a missed opportunity for them? They had a 3-2 lead late in the third period. McDavid doesn't even get on the score sheet. He's not even on the ice for a goal, and they end up losing it. How do they view it?
You know, it's tough to say just because I think a lot of people really counted the Ducks out before the series even started. It's kind of this thing where, well, they made the playoffs. They should be happy to have even gotten there, and now they're playing with house money. But then we saw in game one where, yeah, they went down 2 goals at the end of the first, but they came back, they tied it up, they got the lead. And then in the third, I think maybe they just took their foot off the gas a little bit. You have to be pretty wary of how dangerous Connor McDavid, Evan Bouchard, Leon Draisaitl, those guys are. So the way that the Ducks have won games all year is to just keep your foot on the gas pedal. And I don't really think they did that in the third. So I think that's going to be kind of the key tonight is make sure that once you get things going, you got to keep pressing it and make sure that they're not able to bounce back.
Derek Lee joins us. The Ducks say we saw Jackson Lacombe big hit on Zach Hyman. I thought he liked every part of his game except maybe that one zone entry where Leon Draisaitl just kind of overpowered him, went through him and his teammates, and ended up that led to the game-winning goal. But overall, when you look at Jackson Lacombe, when you look at Minchikov, kind of how excited are the Ducks about those two, and maybe specifically Minchikov? Like, where do you think his ceiling is?
Well, it's tough to say now because Lacombe seems like he's going to be that number one guy on the left side, but I think that Minchikov has really grown his game this season. Last season was a little bit rough for him because he was in and out of the defensive rotation that they had because Brian Dumoulin was there, and then even after Dumoulin got traded to New Jersey, it was still kind of a rotation between him and Owen Zellweger. He's kind of figured out a little bit more of consistent role this season, and then when they added John Carlson, that pairing has been pretty dynamic behind Lacombe and Jacob Trouba. So now you kind of have this solidified top four that you're able to have confidence in to roll out against guys like McDavid, against Draisaitl. If you look at the ice time distribution, it was pretty much just those top four, especially once you got to the later stages of the third period after that game time goal. They didn't even use the third defensive pair for the rest of the game. So those are guys that you kind of have to rely on in all situations now, especially in a time as important as the playoffs.
Beckett Seneke, for Florida fans who don't see him a lot, you've watched him all year long. What impresses you most about his game, and where do you think of the areas that he's still got room to grow?
I think it's just the fact that every time he gets the puck, he creates something. He gets the puck and you kind of think, okay, what is he going to do here? And even when maybe there's a bobbled pass or it's something in his skates, he's just like a puck magnet. He's able to kind of corral things, and he's so slippery. I know a lot of people compare him to Corey Perry, who was with the Ducks for such a long time and with the Oilers too. Just the way that he's able to kind of wriggle his way around guys and able to get around guys, and he's only scratching the ceiling. It's kind of like Carlson too, where you can see how much talent he has, and at such a young age he's able to kind of do the things that he does, and there's so much room for him to grow because he's only in his first year. So there's so much that he still has to learn and still can develop into.
Well, the one thing, and he's an infinitely better skater than Corey Perry. I'm not speaking out of turn here. So that's and big body, but you're right. He does kind of, slither his way through at times for a big body into tight areas that aren't there. The Ducks, I thought they did a pretty good job in how they defended McDavid, trying to get on him quickly. Now, one game's one thing to do it multiple times. No one in the league's figured out how to do it. But do you expect the Tim Washy line to be the one who plays the most against McDavid again tonight, 5-on-5?
I think so, or maybe at least close to it, just because that's the idea is you want that line to be able to go out, create energy, be a little bit physical. I think you'd like to see them maybe have a little bit more possession because as well as they defended him, it's a lot easier to defend players when they don't have the puck. So if they can get a little more puck possession, I think that'd be kind of the key. And I think Leo has shown that he's able to kind of be that two-way guy and be able to create possession drive against opposing defenses. And like I said before, if you have the puck, then it's a lot easier to keep the other team out of your zone.
What do you, like Pat Verbeek just got the contract extension, and you look at how he's built this team, and he brought in Joe Quenneville. What do you think is like the next step? A lot of the growth is going to be organic. Just Carlson, Gauthier, Seneke, Lacombe, they get better. But like, where's a guy like Owen Zellweger fit in on this team moving forward? You think there's a spot for him?
Well, right now, I don't think so because of the way that things are set up. I mean, you would think that he'd be able to get games in here at the end of the season or even in the playoffs, and he's kind of been surpassed by Tyson Hines right now because Quenneville has been looking for stability and predictability on the defensive end, and Zellweger kind of looked a little bit, I wouldn't say lost, but there were times where he's definitely guilty of puck watching. That led to some goals against at the end of the season. And the team as a whole just wasn't doing great defensively. So I think Quenneville was kind of looking for a little bit of a spark. They called up Hines towards the end of the season, called up Tristan Luneau to finish out the season when Gudas wasn't maybe at full health. So they're just looking for a lot of stability and predictability, especially that's why natural defenseman like Ian Moore, he's playing forward on the fourth line because they're looking just to kind of have that stability, that predictability in the defensive areas.
And I do wonder if Zellweger's size. I think it's become clear in the organization they like size. They just signed Rogers. Like they got huge guys all over the place. And I just wonder if that's something that might lead him to being somebody who's possibly on the trade market this summer.
Yeah, I think that is a priority for Verbeek when he's targeting prospects. So we look at Carlson, you look at Seneca, you look at Roger McQueen. All of these are big bodies. These are big guys that have a lot of strength and they have room to grow still where they can fill out their frame. And unfortunately, Zellweger's kind of the opposite of that. He has a great center of balance. He's tenacious, but sometimes that's what teams are looking for though. They're looking for big, strong, sturdy guys, especially on the back end. You look at the whole league. There's not that many super good undersized guys. Of course, there's Lane Hudson, Cale Makar, guys like that. But a lot of the guys that you see leading the playoff teams are big, strong, sturdy defensemen.
Yeah, and I like Zellweger. I'm not, because the smaller guys are incredibly dynamic. And I'm not sure he's got that in his game. He's pretty thick. Like I'll say this, like he's small in stature. And I think there's teams, I just look at Anaheim and how they've been built. And the one thing the Ducks have done, I think the Ducks, that they may be the one organization that can push the Predators when it comes to drafting and developing defensemen, because it has been just an endless parade of Anaheim defenders. And, it's probably got to go back to Bob Murray. Because, they always seem to have guys, and you look at just how many guys that they've moved on from the Ducks that still, are playing in other organizations, Theodore Manson, Cam Fowler. You go down the list of guys that were great defensemen year after year after year in this organization. And they've seemed to have continued it right now. Like you mentioned Roger McQueen. Now he's a big centerman, of course, but I think that Solberg is a defenseman that, from Norway that people are pretty high on. And obviously the guys they got right now, Minchikov's pretty young. Luneau, you mentioned, is another one, and he got in a game. And I saw people talking about, well, hey, maybe this guy should play all the time. And Tyson Hines, like that organization, they know how to draft defensemen. And lately they know how to draft forwards too. So the future is bright for them, no question. I know they want the future to be bright right now. How much do you, like, when you talk to the players, what was your sense of how much confidence did they gain even though they lost game one?
Oh, a lot of confidence. I mean, I spoke earlier about how maybe a lot of the public eye, they didn't give the Ducks much of a chance because the Oilers have been there, done that pretty much, except for winning the cup. Like they are one of the most battle tested teams in this playoffs. So for the Ducks to come in and kind of go punch for punch with them for most of the game, I think that's definitely motivating going into game 2, knowing that, okay, we were right there with them. We had the lead at one point. It's just a matter of these fine margins. And if we can clean this up and just replicate things, of course, the Oilers are going to make adjustments too. But if you can do as much as you can to replicate what you did, clean up the mistakes, then you have a fighting chance to make it go longer than the minimum 4 games.
Derek, we appreciate this. We'll see you at the rink, man. Thanks for your time. Have a great day.
Thanks for having me, Jason.
There you go. That's Derek Lee joining us from Anaheim. So the Ducks, like the Oilers, they got one lineup change for sure. The Oilers might have a second. We know Henry's out. Smansky's in. Radko Gudas is out. Drew Hellison's in. And Dickinson's a game-time decision. But there's lots of signs that Curtis Lazar might be playing tonight. He did not stay out long for the morning skate. And when I mean, like, he was like 5th, 6th guy off the ice. He was out of the room quickly. Now, I could counter that by saying when they did run lines, if they knew for sure he was playing, they had Nugent Hopkins on the wing and him at center. Now, again, it's a morning skate, so it's not like it's overly intense. And Chris Knobloch, when I asked him, did confirm that if Dickinson doesn't play, Nugent Hopkins will be the third line center. So something to watch for tonight. We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We got 5 questions. Spec, DVD, Tater, busy final hour and 20 minutes of Gregor Show live and on the Rocks. Jasper Avenue, 118th, as always, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Noodle, 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 noodle. Noodle, 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 noodle. Noodle, 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 noodle.
Throw a load down to Oodle Noodle tonight because dine-in is open. Everything is going to be okay. If your debt has you feeling like you're in a free fall, you have options. I'm Dan McDicken, a licensed insolvency trustee with Faber. Becoming debt-free is possible, and a personal bankruptcy or consumer proposal will get you there. Schedule your free Faber Focus session at faber.ca today. You'll learn how a consumer proposal allows you to eliminate your debt by paying a percentage of the amount owed without interest. At Faber, we'll tackle your debt.
Hey, sports fans, we've got a clear choice for you. At Crystal Glass, we provide customers with the perfect glass for any job. From home to auto and even commercial, installation or repairs, we're your team. Call 310-GLASS or visit crystalglass.ca. Crystal Glass.
You don't just need property services, you need problems handled. HireGood provides cleanup, debris removal, site monitoring, and safety attendance across Edmonton. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. We resolve real problems for businesses while creating real impact because our team is built on second chances and they show up every day ready to prove it. Visit hiregood.ca or call and mention Jason Gregor for a first-time discount. HireGood. Stable jobs create stable lives.
A Saskatchewan boy who grew up loving and playing sports. At least we think he grew up. Listen to Kevin Carius weekday mornings from 7 to 11 on Edmonton's home for sports, Sports 1440.
Don't let equipment failure stop you cold. At AWS Welding in Nisku, our factory-trained service techs are on hand for all welding equipment repairs. We're a fully warranted center for Miller, Lincoln, and ESAB. And we service all makes and models. Proper, regular service extends the life of your gear and keeps it running at peak capacity. Don't wait for a breakdown. Book your service appointment today at 780-979-0470. AWS Welding. We make it happen.
Well, get ready for a silly hockey fans. Your partner in power just skated onto the ice.
EWEL.ca, the new e-commerce website for electrical wholesalers Edmonton, is ready for the power play 24/7, 365.
UL skates to where the puck will be in 5 years. Now that's forward thinking.
Killer selection, slamming products from the best brands, and legendary service.
Don't sit on the bench. Get your account today at EWEL.ca and win that project.
Plug into your partner in power. Get an EWEL.ca account today.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
A long weekend pit stop without a Toyota Prius plug-in hybrid can be hectic. But when you get a Prius plug-in hybrid during Red Tag days, you can take advantage of an estimated combined range of up to 962 kilometers and get there with fewer stops. Take advantage of Red Tag days on now. Eligible customers can receive up to $7,500 in rebates, including a $2,500 federal rebate on select 2026 Prius plug-in hybrid models. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Prairie Toyota dealer today.
Professional golf is coming to Blackhawk Golf Club this fall. The ATB Classic, presented by Building Trades of Alberta, brings the stars of PGA Tour Americas to you. Enjoy the ATB Fan Zone, presented by Michelob Ultra, where golf meets festival vibes. Upgrade to VIP-covered terrace seating with premium food and beverage options. September 17th to 20th. Tickets start at just $25, and the first 250 buyers receive a PGA Tour Americas commemorative gift. Get yours at atbclassic.com.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Crystal Glass, your clear choice for residential windows, locally manufactured and installed. Crystal Glass provides a beautiful product and incredible customer services for all of your residential needs. Call 310 Glass or visit crystalglass.ca for a quote.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
We roll through, man. Game day getting closer all the time. Puck drop, of course, around 8:22 tonight. Welcome back, Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Live and on the rocks, Jasper Ave and 118th Street, where, of course, you can get $5.75 most Canadian Coors Light, 69-cent wings. Tonight, play score and wing every time the score and wing, not wing. Score and win every time the Oilers score. You can get paid. Pretty sweet. And right after the game, it's karaoke night. Oh, some of you will be singing. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. Now, let's get to 5 questions brought to you by The Brick, where you can save 60% off Canadian-made sofas. Also up to $1,400 off Canadian sectionals as they promote Canada at The Brick and thebrick.com.
It's time for 5 questions on the Jason Gregor Show.
All right, Jason, it is the tradition. We've got a game day prediction. Oilers Ducks game 2. Throw something bold in there as well.
Well, the Oilers, funny enough, have never won a game 2 in the McDavid-Draisaitl era at home ice when they've been leading 1-0. Now, it's only happened twice, and both times they lost in overtime 5-4. Once in double overtime, of course, the Stanley Cup final last season. Brad Marchand scoring that goal. So I say the Oilers will win for the first time when they're up 1-0 in a series to go up 2-0. And my bold prediction is fourth line. Doc, Frederick, Szymanski. They combine for a goal.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to take the Oilers in this one, of course. It feels like I always do. Often wrong, but I'll take the Oilers to win 5-2 with an empty net goal. And bold prediction tonight, 2 goals from the blue line. So that's what I'll roll with here. 2 goals from the back end. Question number 2 tonight. The other games, Flyers, Penguins, Stars, Wild. Who do you have in each of those games?
Well, I had the Flyers at the start of the series, although I didn't think they'd be winning like this. They just looked like the way better team Now, they will be desperate. I understand all of that, but I'm going to roll with the Flyers tonight. And that other game is a pick 'em, man. That's a great series. Love it. Yeah, I wish that was the earlier game tonight, to be honest. I will watch the Pittsburgh one as a little bit of a preview when I'm working in the media lounge. But that's the game. I don't know if anybody's watched that series or how closely you've watched it, but it's been dynamic, man. It's been a great series. So I'd check that one out. I'm going to say Minnesota wins at home in overtime tonight.
All right. I'm going to go with the Penguins. I think we'll get a veteran performance. Those guys show up on the road, play a smart game. Maybe the Flyers with the crowd, maybe they're going out of their way, trying to throw an extra hit here or two, and it cost them. So I'll take the Penguins to make the series a little bit closer. And I'm with you for the Wild. Wish it wasn't a 8:30 Central Time start. 30 minutes earlier would have been a little nicer. I'm with you there. So I think it'll be a good game, though. Both of them should be fun. Question number 4 for you. No, 3, sorry. You have a choice. You're guaranteed a job, and it's 5 years. So you're not going to get fired after a couple bad seasons. Which vacant NHL GM job would you take?
So that's Toronto, Vancouver, Nashville. Well, I definitely don't want Vancouver. I'm crossing them off. It's not even with the ownership group out, because even if I had a 5-year contract, I'm not sure I'd believe that it would actually be 5 years. So I will say negative to that. I would. So now I got Toronto and Nashville, and I think both are teams that have to admit they're going in a rebuild. I'm going to go with Toronto because I think I can get more for Matthews and Nylander to really help me do a rebuild. I don't think I can retool in Toronto. I don't think I can. I think I got to do a proper rebuild. And the other thing is, you'll know that you'll always have fans in Toronto going to the games, so you don't really have to worry about. They'll make tons of money. Their fans are used to losing, so I hate to say it, but it's true, and they still support their team, which is great. So I would say Toronto for a 5-year. No, I got a 5-year term because I think I've got some other pieces that can help me get more pieces to have more swings to help a proper rebuild.
Yeah. I mean, hey, you certainly face the pressure there. I'd probably go Nashville. They have some players. If you had to make the moves, you could. There's in the Marchessault contract, not great, but Forsberg, Stamkos had a good season this past year. You got the goaltending. So I think I'd take Nashville followed by Toronto, but I'm with you with the Vancouver Canucks. Just top to bottom, that is nothing I want to be near in the next couple of years here. Question number 4. We've seen it all the time with the NFL draft and a good offseason. You can turn your team around in the NFL. So fill in the blank. With a good draft, blank can become a playoff team next season.
Go ahead.
There's a couple, because obviously the Chiefs, we expect to bounce back fully, maybe Tampa Bay, but I'm going to say a team that, and I wish they didn't trade their star defensive lineman in Dexter Lawrence, but I'm going to say the Giants. The division is going to be tough with the Eagles. I think they'll kind of reign supreme, but the Dallas Cowboys, we have some questions about. Commanders. If they're healthy, they're a good team, but nothing's promised. And I think Harbaugh is going to kind of right the ship, change the culture there. So I will say with a good draft, the New York Giants can find a way to become a wild card playoff team.
Oh, okay. Because the Giants have what? They got 2 of the top 10 picks, right?
Yeah, now, 5 and 10.
5 and 10. But they did trade away a pretty good player. Well, definitely not the Jets. It's definitely not the Dolphins. You know what, Cons? Just because I'm a sucker for punishment. You know what? I'm gonna say the Kansas City Chiefs. Come on, they got 2 first-rounders, and they still got a franchise quarterback. I'll take the Chiefs.
Final question for you today is Earth Day. In honor of that, what are the top 3 places in the world to visit? You could say places you've been or places you'd like to check out.
Go ahead.
I'm going to go with places I've been and that I enjoy. I love going out to the mountains. You could probably drop any spot. I'd be loving it out there, but most specifically, the Radium Fairmont area out in the valley. I love going out there. Number 2, give me San Diego, just along the beach there. Pacific Beach is just awesome to sit out there and take it all in, watch the ocean, have a drink. And number 1, I did the Alaskan cruise. Now, I'm not saying I want to live in an Alaskan city, but just out there being on the cruise on the ocean where the sun never really goes down, it was super cool. So that was one of the top places to visit, and I I recommend an Alaskan cruise if anyone gets the opportunity.
Okay. Well, I would say Maui. I love Maui, and I love the weather. It's always unbelievable. So that's a place that I've been. That is great. I would always. I'd also recommend going to. Well, now I haven't been there, but it's a place that I really want to go see, Connor Halley, and the pyramids at Giza in Egypt. I just want to see it. I don't understand it. I want to see it live and in person. I know it'd be hot, so you got to do some planning to want to go there for sure. And another one, like if I'm looking, because I've been to Paris and it was okay. Maybe at the time of my life I went, I didn't get to see as much, but I think just for history and lots of things. Well, actually, you know what? I'm going to go Croatia. Haven't been, but I've talked to lots of people who have, and they say it's maybe one of the most beautiful places to go. There are lots of places to walk. It's close. You can go to a lot of different areas, but I'm going to say Croatia. But I have to say I haven't been there yet, but it's on the top of my list of places that I would like to go. So
right on the coast, looks awesome.
No, yeah, it's supposed to be amazing. So great. Now places in Canada, like obviously what's going on in the world here the last bit, I've been going to Canada a little bit more, and obviously the mountains in Alberta can't be beat. I love Canmore, a huge fan of it. I love the hiking. There's so many unique trails that have been and so many that I haven't even had a chance to explore yet. So definitely that. And from conversations with TR and everybody else who's been there, I got to go to the East Coast, man. And when you go to the East Coast, you got to go there for like 3 weeks and tour around, at least 3 weeks and tour around all of it. I think the summertime there would be amazing. So that's what I want to do.
How far east have you been?
Well, I was out Maritimes once, but only for like 2 days. So that would be in Halifax, that'd be the farthest I've been.
Yeah, same. We were only there, I think, 3 or 4 nights, so not really long enough to explore the whole area.
Yeah, didn't explore a ton, but I would like to go back for sure. I'd like to go on a proper trip. Like I really, at some point in my life, I'm just gonna rent like a big, and I always call it a Winnebago. I'm sure there's other brand names, but I want to drive across the country on my own time in a Winnebago and just get to experience everything. See everything, you know what? Drive for a few hours. Stop. What do we come across here? Let's stop. I'm talking like a 2-monther, and just drive across the country. I think it'd be unbelievable. There's so many places you could, and you'd still, even in 2 months, you wouldn't get to see it all. There's no chance. Like there's still places you'd miss. So I think that would be a super fun trip, just to get to kind of experience and really know the country you live in. That's on my to-do list. Just like a safari, guaranteed. I'm going on a safari. So guaranteed. When we return, Mark Spector, Derek Van Diest, Cam Tate, all in a busy 5 o'clock hour here on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca. It's time for a Sports 1440 update brought to you by Northgate Chevrolet Buick GMC. Spring is here, and it's coming. And so are the Corvettes. Come see the vets inside Northgate showroom in the brand new Autoplex and get 0% financing. NorthgateGM.com.
1440 update.
Game day, Oilers Ducks down at Rogers Place. Puck drop just after 8 o'clock. Our pregame coverage coming your way, starting at 6 with Andrew Walker, Donovan Paulson, Hellstar Flyers, Sosa Penguins, Stars taking in the Wild. In the association, you got the Pistons and the Magic, game 2 of their best of 7. And later tonight, the Suns and OKC taking on the Thunder. Major League Baseball today, the Jays falling to the Angels 7-3. They'll have tomorrow off before kicking off the series against the Guardians in Toronto on Friday. Couple games underway right now. Athletics and Mariners tied at 4 in the 9th, while the Yankees lead the Red Sox 3-0. In Washington, the Nationals trailing the Braves 1-0. AJHL League Final, game 4 in Canmore. Between the Eagles and the Wolverines, Eagles leading 2-1. Puck drop at 7. Also at 7, you got BCHL action, Crusaders and Bandits out in Sherwood Park. Brooks leading 2-1. PWHL has Boston hosting Ottawa at 5 and Minnesota in Seattle at 8. Coming up in hour 4 of the Jason Gregor Show, we'll be joined by Mark Spector of Rogers Sportsnet, Derek Van Diest from NHL.com, and we'll hear the latest edition of Cam Tate's 2-minute warning. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440 in West Edmonton Mall and Wetaskiwin. CKJR is a Stingray radio station.
Download the free radio player app and listen wherever you go.
Are you looking for safe and reliable transportation solutions for your wedding, corporate retreat, or golf trip? Look no further than Silent Rides, Alberta's premier charter bus company. Whether your group is big or small, Silent Rides has you covered. We offer 3 different sizes of units to cater to your needs, and we provide first-class service at affordable rates. Get your quote today. For more information and to request a quote, contact sales at 877-748-0991 or visit silentrides.ca.
Great news for your weekend project. CFI, that's Custom Floors Inc., is now open 6 days a week with Saturday hours from 10 till 2. Get top quality Canadian products from Beaulieu with the convenience you need. For your free estimate, visit CFI at customfloorsinc.ca.
He's a legend in the booth and a master on the mic. Low Tide brings the banter weekdays from noon to 2. Sports 1440 is where Edmonton talks sports. Get in the game. Text 833-401-1440.
At Fountain Tire, the savings come in threes. Up to 25% off select tires, a mail-in rebate of up to $100 off a set of 4 select tires, and $50 off $150 service. We're basically the BLT of savings. Until April 25th. Restrictions apply. Book today.
For over 50 years, The Brick has been proudly serving Canada. They love to save you more on everything you need for your home. Save up to 60% off made-in-Canada sofas when you buy the matching love seat or chair. Find patio sets starting at just $99 and save up to 40% off mattresses. Plus, take 5 years to pay with 0% interest on furniture and mattresses. Taxes and fees due at purchase, OAC. Visit a Brick near you for details and exclusions. The Brick, saving you more.
Backshot Concrete Products. From concrete and septic tanks to blocks, precast water pads, Jersey barriers and aggregates. Farmers, contractors, homeowners. Plan your next project at BashotConcrete.com. Family owned, over 60 years pouring. Bashot Concrete Products. Once again, start here. BashotConcrete.com.
Hey there, it's Brandon Douglas from Sports 1440. If you're tired of slow, unreliable internet connections like I am, check out Starlink. It's fast, reliable, even in bad weather, and even works for 4K streaming for movie nights, online gaming, and more. Growing up on the farm in the sticks of Central Alberta, we tried everything to get reliable internet, but we're always left with buffering video and half-loaded websites. There's nothing worse than losing your connection while streaming the big game. I'm getting mine set up soon and can't wait. If you're ready for better internet, order online in 2 minutes at starlink.com/radio or call 1-800-GO-STARLINK.
Why should you drive a Subaru? How about durability, style, and an excellent customer experience from the moment you step into the showroom? And how about accolades, including awards for numerous 2026 Subaru models from both AutoTrader and JD Power? But don't just take my word for it. Take a test drive and you'll see why the Subaru name is recognized and renowned for quality. To learn more, visit Subaru.ca. Welcome to Uncommon. Welcome to Subaru.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Japa Machinery. Do you know that Japa offers in-house and on-site service? Rain or shine, Japa Service Department is here for you. Get a quote now at japamachinery.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Oh, baby. We're getting ready. They're booing Crosby like crazy in Philadelphia. Oh, the playoffs are back. It is awesome. Well, welcome to the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website where 100% of the revenue stays right here in the province at PlayAlberta.ca. Of course, get in on the Gregor Show odds boost. Check it out today. We got 4 for you. All Oilers Ducks related. We are live and on the rocks, Jasper Ave, 118th Street, where, yeah, it's Oilers Ducks related. Your place to watch the game tonight. All sorts of great food and drink specials, 69-cent wings, and their wings are killer good. Killer good. And as an added bonus, it happens, and it just happens every Wednesday, but tonight is karaoke night. So once the game is over, if you feel the team's going to win, you'll be in a good mood. It'll be the place to have a lot of fun, Jasper Ave and 118th Street. 833-401-1440. 833-401-1440 is where you can text us. Got a lot of, hey, Greg's, if you're going out east, man, you got to check out PEI. It is unbelievable. Lots of fun. And I'm from Nova Scotia. So there you go. Hey, man, I'd see all of them. If you're going all the way that distance, you got to see all of them. Got to take your time. I got a few buddies, obviously TR, and a few others out there. So it would be great. It is definitely, I've already talked about it. I've already kind of planned it out slowly on where I'm going to go, take the drive, take some time, get a little Winnebago, and you know what? Drive 6-8 hours a day, split it up in between short jaunts so we don't get too tired, see a lot of things across the lovely country of ours. I think it'd be great. As we now get to the Spec Report, brought to you by GS Construction, your underground infrastructure specialists, and they are hiring. I can tell you right now, like a lot of Oilers fans there. So if you consider yourself a hockey fan, hard worker who wants an opportunity to have a great career, go to gsconstruction.ca and look up careers. As Mark Spector from Rogers Sportsnet joins us once again. Spec, good afternoon. How you doing?
On the rocks in there, having a couple of doubles already, are you, Jay, or what's going on?
Spec, I'm a professional. You know that. It's not Friday. No. Can't say I've never had it, but probably not doubles. The late on shore told me because he actually retired from drinking in 1987 after he got too buckled on air. And he told me that story, and he shared that story publicly. I'm not talking out of school. And I remember he told me all that kind of led up to how it got to that point. And so I was, you know what? Hey, that's like I did get really bombed once on the air, but that was for a message. Don't drink and drive, to see what it took. Well, remember when Habby Boolin blew .149 and claimed that he'd only had one glass of wine? I'm like, okay, let's get out of here. And I can tell you, that show, that was in the peak of my party days, really, when I did that show. And so I could drink a fair amount then. And I actually wasn't blowing enough, so I had to start drinking more in the last few hours. But I can tell you, I remember at 5:40 where I was like, I just repeated myself for the first time. And I was like, just try to get out of here now. So that was a long show, but fun. But that was more like I felt like I had to be professionally drunk, if that makes any sense.
How high did you end up blowing when the show was over?
The highest I blew was .147. So I didn't even get to what he did. But Meg blew .18. We had to cut her off at 4 when she blew because she was laughing too much, so she couldn't do it. So we cut her off. And she didn't drink for 2 hours, and she ended up blowing more after. And that's kind of, we learned a lot about it. It takes a while to get through your system and everything else like that. So, she ended up blowing like .18, which was great. She was great.
Habby Boolin. That was back when the Oilers had a goalie with a higher blood alcohol level than his save percentage, as I recall.
Yeah. I just remember being like, what was the glass of wine? Like one of those backed up glasses of wine? Like, what are we talking about?
That's a hell of a wine. Where do I find it?
Exactly. So Spec, the Edmonton Oilers, I was looking up all the numbers, I like to do. And, historically, you win game 2 at home, and after winning game 1, you got a 88% chance of winning the series. The Oilers in the McDavid era, fun little fact, have never gone up 2-0 at home. Because they've lost game 1 most of the time. But last year, of course, they won game 1 of the Stanley Cup final. Then they lost in double overtime in game 2. The year before, they won game 1, and then they lost in overtime 5-4 to the Kings in game 2. So they could actually do something tonight that this group has never done in the last decade.
Well, I'm not going to tell you who's going to win, but I fully expect the Oilers to play a much better hockey game than they played. If the Ducks are going to grab a win here and they need one, I think Edmonton's game will be much better tonight. So Anaheim's is going to have to really go north. Like that's, they let, as we said before, to my eye, the Ducks let the Oilers play a very, substandard game and win a game in this series to open the thing the other night. So, And I'm not telling you Anaheim can't win, but their level is going to have to go way up from where it was in game 1.
Yes, it will. we know Josh Szymanski is in.
Yeah.
And he'll play. And he'll play with Doc and Frederick, according to Knobloch. And it's either going to be Nugent Hopkins centering the third line, and then Lazar's in, or Dickinson's in. What's your gut tell you?
The gut tells me Dickinson will be in. I know he dragged this ankle injury into the playoffs. He hurt it again in game 1, and then played the rest of the game and was skating pretty well. I was watching him as closely as I could from up there. So I think you're going to see Dickinson miss a bunch of morning skates, for who knows how long in this playoffs. But I think he's missing a skate because he doesn't want to overtax the leg, but I'll bet you he plays tonight. What do you think?
Well, that's originally what I thought until Lazar left very early. And that's what raised my spidey sense, because Stastny stayed out late. Szymanski and Lazar stayed out late in the morning skate on Monday, and they weren't playing. So that's the only reason where I'm like, But I'm wondering if that means they're like, well, we're not sure, so don't bag yourself. And he skated really hard at the optional skate yesterday. But when you've been around watching morning skate, Spec, we know usually it's easy. Coach doesn't tell you who played. All you got to do is go look and watch it. Oh, who's still on the ice? Okay, that's who's not playing. But it was a little different. Now, that doesn't guarantee it, of course, but historically, that's where I was kind of like, oh, maybe there's a chance that we might see Curtis Lazar.
Yeah, so I think what we learned is it's not a for sure that Dickinson's playing. If it was a for sure, Lazar probably would have skated longer. But anyway, yes, for my gut, that's my gut. I think he's the guy that dragged an injury into the playoffs, and he's going to have to deal with it here. Hopefully for his sake, not for 3 or 4 rounds, but I guess for the Oilers' sake, that'd be a good thing. But we'll see. Let's see if he plays tonight. They could use him. He's a good player. Scored 2 the other night, which is, I think, even more than anyone asked for out of your third line center.
Oh yeah, I don't think they're expecting 2 goals a game from Dickinson. Although they'll take it, they will definitely take it. Radko Gudas is out. Hellison comes in. Gudas only played 9 minutes, but he was a big impact in the game just from when he fell, and that really opened up a lane for Matthias Ekholm. The thing I'm watching most for tonight, Spec, is that Washi matchup against McDavid. Like Connor McDavid talked about, hey man, my zone entries on the power play, that's on me. I got to make better zone entries. I have no worries about that. 5-on-5, I thought the whole line wasn't great. They weren't bad, but they weren't great. I thought Savoy got better in the third period. And Connor McDavid's always been a very prideful player. And I think he looks and says, they want to play the fourth line against me the most tonight? All right. And if that's a matchup that Joel Quenneville is going to run with again, if I'm the Edmonton Oilers, I am like, okay, great, because the odds are that's a matchup that benefits Edmonton.
Well, no points in the first game for your first line. So, there's not many games I'm going to watch and tell you that my top line got no points, but they still played well, right? Playing well as a top unit means you get points and pucks go in the net. That's just the nature of the sport. So, that line can play better, and I certainly suspect that they will. McDavid doesn't go 2 games in a row in the playoffs without having an impact. What you just said about Washi and listen, McDavid's had a whole bunch of guys over the years try to shut him down, some more successfully than others. My recollection is Nazem Kadri has always done a pretty good job with McDavid. He's good at it. And there's a couple other guys, but you got to earn your stripes. If you think you're going to go out and play a solid, would he play 9 minutes or something against McDavid the other night? 7 minutes?
No, it was only 6:40.
6:40. Sorry.
Yeah.
That's still a lot in the scheme of things. So what you just said about McDavid saying, okay, you're going to come at me for a second game here. You guys think this is the solution? Yeah, that's usually a starting point for Connor McDavid to prove you wrong.
Yeah, 100%. And that's what his head coach said. In your travels around the rink today, Spec, any angle, anything that caught your attention?
I had a nice chat actually with Trent Frederick. And, Trent was probably getting a little sick of me coming up to him and asking him when he first showed up here about sort of just finding a role and finding a way to help the team. Remember how much we talked about that? He was this kind of guy there that he didn't have anything that he did that made the coach want to call his number and send him over the boards. And I get it. Folks out there are saying, oh my God, we didn't sign this guy as a fourth line winger, and we can, I'll give you some of that. But I think him and Doc really found roles here. Hey, I feel like, we talked to Colton Doc as well. I think they've both found, like, this is the first time the Oilers have had a fourth line with an identity, man, in I can't remember how long. And, Doc's dragged Frederick into the fight a little bit here. And I feel a little better for him. He seems like he's got a smile on his face and he's a little happier. And we're not all looking at Trent Frederick every day and going, man, what are you doing here? I feel like that line's, it's having some success. So that's one of the things. I talked to Colton Doc about their summer training regimen at the Shamrock Curling Club. You ever hear about that group?
No.
They take the ice out. There's a trainer that's in there that trains a bunch of NHL guys. Kirby, Doc, Colton, Doc, Zellweger, a few other guys. They take the ice out in the old Shamrock, and that's where they train in the summer, inside an old curling club. I said, do they leave the bar open for you at least? He says, no, it's really hot, though, so the odd time they'll open up the garage door to get some heat, some air in that old place. But I don't know. I thought it was a cool story. Whoever heard of a bunch of NHL guys training in a curling club all summer?
Hey, man, you got to get in shape any way you can. So it's old school hard. It's like chatted with Szymanski today. I found out that he was the middle son of 7. He has 3 older brothers. And then Noah's his younger brother. The first 5 are boys. And then he's got Lily and Lucy, the 2 young sisters. His brother Neil, who's older, him and Noah were playing together in the second division league in Germany this year. And Josh actually just got signed. It's kind of like he's going from the AHL to the NHL. He's going to the DEL next season, just signed a contract. And Josh was pretty fired up for his younger brother. And his sister Lily is on a pole vaulting scholarship to Oklahoma. And so when he was in Dallas earlier this year, Lily came down and drove 3 hours to watch him and had a conversation. We were having some chats about pole vaulting. Like, buddy, I watch pole vaulting. Like, that is, you make a mistake in that one, you can be pretty high up there thinking, uh-oh. And so I'd ask him, hey, so does Lily ever teach? He goes, no, that's not my thing. but pretty athletic family. And I'd ask him, of course, because of the time zone change. And, mom and dad going to be watching. He's like, yeah, I think so. And he goes, like my siblings, they got work. I don't think so. But I noticed a few people when I posted that online about him, there's a lot of Germans saying, no, they'll be watching. You kidding me? Like, it's a pretty big deal. So you go to bed early, 8 o'clock, set the alarm, get your 8 hours and watch it at 4 a.m. The Szymanski, that's a pretty big family. So Skinner had 9. He was out. Now they got a guy with 7. He's right in the middle.
Wow. So. And athletic too. Like, the nurses are all playing sports and so are these guys. Like, you don't get a pole vaulting, gig at Oklahoma. Like, that's a big school. They don't give you a free ride for nothing. You got to be good. So good for her. Maybe she'll be in the Olympics one day.
Yeah, that'd be crazy. So it is funny. Like, obviously Josh he's a pretty quiet guy, but his teammates say he's really funny. And so I'm kind of interested to get to know him a little bit better. Obviously, he talks glowingly about Leon Draisaitl and how much he helps him maybe away from hockey as much as he helps him as hockey. And, like, when you got the best German player of all time, he's very proud of his country. And like even Connor McDavid spec, when they asked him about Szymanski, like, he really kind of brightens up a bit. Like, you can see they really respect Szymanski, just like his defensive game. He's ultra reliable. And I think, like, the next phase for him is to become at least a little bit of a threat, right? Like, his 9 shots in 24 games on goal of the 699 forwards who have played 24 plus games, he ranks 698. So he's going to need to get a few more shots here. And who knows, maybe tonight that line get some energy and get some goals.
Okay, what I want to know is, he's got 9 shots on goal. He's got 2 goals, neither of which he shot in the net. So what's his shooting percentage?
22.2.
He gets a shooting percentage even for the pucks that other guys shot in the net? Is that how this works?
Well, because remember the last one was he passed it. It went off the other team's stick and in. So it's considered a shot on goal by him. So, yeah, like, he's really only had 7 of his own shots on net. And then he gets 2 that weren't his own to get his 2 goals. So, yes, it is. When he does score a goal, hopefully it comes off. Well, he doesn't care. Get a goal in the playoffs however he can. But I'm sure he'd like to shoot one in himself.
Well, like, this is where we're at with this Oilers group here. They're getting older, man. Like, McDavid's 29 and Draisaitl's 30. And Like the other week, yesterday, Tristan Jarry's son, Bennett, turned 1 year old. And the week before, they had a party, and a whole bunch of the Oilers came to his house, out to his acreage there. He's out by Camrose or something. And they all went out there for a number one birthday party, you know, and we were laughing. Like, I remember I was laughing with Louis, talking to Tristan Jarry this morning. I remember the days when the only time all the Oilers got together was at Ezzy's after they got off that flight from Calgary. But, you know, Darnell Nurse got 3 kids here. I believe Nuge has 2. So, you know, to have a young guy in the group like Szymanski, he's bringing in some youthful experience. And Colton Dock's another guy. Like, they're loving this guy. I believe Colton Dock's a father as well. But anyway, you know, that's the age we're at here. These aren't a bunch of kids anymore. They're all pushing 30 or more, and having a young Szymanski and a young Doc, I think I got to say, shout out to Bowman. He's done a nice job bringing these guys in here. A younger Podkolzins really breathe life into this group. It's important, man. You can't have a bunch of old guys that have been there, done that. You need a couple guys walking out of that tunnel for the first time, man, to keep a little life in the group.
Yeah, Matt Savoy's another one, of course.
Yeah, right. Of course.
Younger guy. So, lastly, Spec, you look at last night, Tampa, Montreal. Where do you come out? I'm curious. Where do you come out on, like, should the refs just hand out misconduct? You can't have everybody just constantly wrestling with their gloves on, can you? Like, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I'm like, either drop the mitts and do it, or enough's enough. Like, to me, that becomes a little stupid.
Yeah, I heard Rupper on the show earlier, and I mean, he obviously knows a lot more about it than me or you. He's been there, but I would say to you that the ease with which those officials let Slavkovsky go and get in that fight with Hagel tells you what they were thinking. They wanted someone to drop the gloves, have a darn fight, and it almost always cools the game down when guys actually fight. Don't tell me, or don't ask me why. I'm not a psychologist.
Because it's easy, Spec. It's easy to look like the tough guy.
Yeah, right.
And then finally someone says, okay, do it. Right now, whoa. I can wrestle with my gloves on.
Yeah.
There's a very big difference when suddenly the guy's actually throwing punches bare hand, and it's a no-brainer to me. All of a sudden, you know, it's like, hey, you want to put up or shut? Because I remember Kerry Fraser. There were guys after a while that always yapped up, and he'd just say he would wait and let the guy go get him because he's like, you know what? Eventually, you got to put up or shut up.
Yeah, and I think it's just a symptomatic of where our game is. Like, this isn't me on a soapbox calling for more fighting. That's not what I'm doing here. But they don't fight barely in junior anymore. They certainly don't fight in the NCAA. They don't fight in Europe. So guys come in the league, no one has any acumen in fighting. No one's fought before anymore. Like, there's lots of guys that never been in a fight. And then this stuff happens, and no one wants to fight. Like, there's not enough guys that are willing to do what you just talked about and let the pressure off here and have a couple scraps, and then they play hockey again after. So you're right. I was a little bored with what I was watching with Tampa last night in terms of all that bravado and fake, you know, I'm real tough, but don't ask me to fight routine. I think you're right. And I think the referees got to figure it out. They got to throw guys in the box and put an end to it. Because I certainly don't want to watch a bunch of guys with their gloves on going at it. Give me a 5-on-5 brawl any day, but not with gloves on.
Yeah, like it just seemed like it was every second shift, and this guy's wrestling and that guy, but nothing's really happening. You get a bunch of coincidental minors, and it doesn't do anything. So it was just me. It was an entertaining game, right? Lots of the games have been entertaining. Vegas and Utah. Utah gets their first ever franchise win last night. Colorado had to score late against LA. Man, Quentin Byfield, that's a great save by Wedgwood on the penalty shot. Are you kidding me?
Oh my God! If he hangs onto that puck for just an eyelash longer, he's got an open net. Yes, lots of great hockey. You know what? The first round, it never disappoints, man. Every year you set your watch by it. It's fantastic hockey every time. And then people start to complain about the format and this and that. What are we complaining about here? The hockey's awesome.
Yeah, I'm with you, man, on that one. I will say, Spack, I'm not going to lie. The Kings are hard to watch. Like, that game was like the last few minutes is okay because now it's down to the wire, but is it still a slog fest? Like, if there was any way to ban how they play, I'd vote for it.
Welcome to the team, buddy. Welcome to the team. I've been writing that since about 2010.
God, enough's enough. Like if they lose another series like this, like how many times can you lose in the first round? Where you're like, hey guys, maybe we should alter our organizational plan.
Yeah.
Just a thought.
Well, they just had 2 games played exactly the way they want to play them. They held Colorado to what? 3 regulation goals in 2 games, and they didn't win either one of them.
Yeah.
You know, so if you do that in Denver and you play your game, your style, low scoring hockey, boring as hell, and you don't win either one, now what are we trying to accomplish here?
Yeah. Well, we're trying to accomplish losing.
Yeah, let's get the Kings out of here and watch some real hockey.
Yes. Well, there you go. Spec, we will see you at the rink tonight.
All right. Sounds good, Jay.
Mark Spector, the Spec Report brought to you by GS Construct. I'm curious where fans come out on it. Like, I get the intensity. I don't mind the wrestling, but enough's enough at some point. Put up or shut up. Like, to me, it's like a fake tough guy, right? It's like the minute the linesman get in front, all of a sudden now the guy's like that little yappy dog. You're like, the linesman gets out of the way, all of a sudden, whoa, no, let me come behind you. Like, enough's enough. Like, either drop it or go. Just go with, hey, deliver big bomb hits, sure. But just the constant little every push and shoving, like, ugh, don't like it. Quick break. We'll come back. We got Cam Tate, Derek Van Diest with you. The Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca live and on the rocks. Your place to watch the game tonight. It's going to be way warmer in here. If you're thinking about going downtown, you might want to think again. Come here, great specials, and you can win when the Oilers score here at On the Rocks.
Nothing beats getting a deal at McDonald's. Why? Because you get a deal now.
And a deal later.
Redeem an offer from the latest mailer or on the McDonald's app and dig into instant savings. Plus, you earn points towards
free McDonald's.
Now that's what I call
a double whammy of deals.
Why does that keep happening? Deals sent right to your door. Check your mailbox for the latest McDonald's mailer loaded with delicious value. For a limited time at participating restaurants in Western Canada.
One app, triple the action. Play Alberta is proof that good things do come in threes. Whether you're into playing any of our exciting casino games, betting on your favorite professional sports teams from around the world, or buying into Canada's biggest lotteries. Play Alberta is the province's only app to do it all. Download today and discover a new way to play.
Must be 18 plus to play. If you gamble, use your game sense.
Action Electrical's projects team takes the field, folks, ready to execute the entire play for new commercial builds.
Absolutely. They're masters of design, build, sketching strategy from initial blueprints to core electrical infrastructure. The team never misses on complex projects.
Known for handling big league constructions and major renovations, ensuring flawless execution, hire the Action Electrical team to bring home a win for your project. Visit actionelectrical.net.
You don't just need property services, you need problems handled. HireGood provides cleanup, debris removal, site monitoring, and safety attendance across Edmonton. We reduce issues on your property, keep spaces safe, and take pressure off your team. We resolve real problems for businesses while creating real impact because our team is built on second chances and they show up every day ready to prove it. Visit hiregood.ca or call and mention Jason Gregor for a first-time discount. HireGood. Stable jobs create stable lives.
When it comes to sports in Edmonton, Jason Gregor is a must-listen. He brings you the inside scoop with guests from across North America. If it matters in sports, you'll hear it here first. Gregor rolls out weekdays from 2 to 6 on Sports 1440.
When life unexpectedly changes, it can leave us feeling unbalanced, uncertain, and unsure of how to move forward. But you don't have to go through it alone. I'm Corey Anderson with Fairway Divorce Solutions. Our team helps reestablish balance, guiding you through your divorce with compassion, clarity, and support. Fairway has helped more than 6,500 families across Canada find a path towards a peaceful, fair resolution. With 2 offices in Edmonton, we're here to make your journey easier. Discover your options at Fairway Divorce.
Welcome back to Nissan Head to Head. Today, we've got the Nissan Rogue Platinum showing up with an unbelievable estimated highway range of up to 800 kilometers per tank.
Some of the other guys are stepping up now with yet another fuel stop. Some wins are really obvious.
Right now, finance a Nissan Rogue Platinum for 0% for 60 months. Visit Nissan.ca for details. Conditions apply.
Visit your local Edmonton and area Nissan dealer for more information.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Cantork, made in Canada, made for Canada, where extreme isn't theoretical. Find your solution at Cantork.com.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
Sidney Crosby is now 5th all-time in playoff scoring. He assists on Evgeny Malkin's goal, and the Penguins get a lead as they are up 1-0. Crosby's now up to 202 career playoff points. He trails Glenn Anderson 214, Yari Curry 233, Mark Messier 295, and Wayne Gretzky 382. So there's a chance you could catch Anderson, Curry, maybe. He'd have to play for a while, but Messier and Gretzky, no chancey McClancy on that happening. Welcome back. It is the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca, coming to you live at On the Rocks, Jasper Ave, 118th Street. Of course, your place to see the game tonight with a boatload of Oiler friends. You'll have lots of fun. Jasper Ave, 118th Street, as we get to the Oil Report, brought to you by Go Auto. Not only do they sell vehicles, they give back to the community. They've donated over $27 million to communities they work in. That is goauto.ca. As Derek Van Diest from NHL.com joins us. DVD, how you doing, my man?
Good. How are you doing today?
Hey, I'm excellent. Give me your thoughts. We'll get to the Oilers in a second, but of course you cover all the Western teams. And Vancouver, we hear Kevin Adams' name. Also, now we're hearing Shane Doan. Well, we were talking about this earlier in Vancouver. Like, that's a tough place to go because of the ownership. And, you need someone to come in there who can probably maybe help stabilize or help just say, okay, just, you guys got to back off here or whatever, which I know is hard to do. But, ultimately, who do you think they go with? Do they go with an experienced guy as a GM, or do you think they hire someone who has NHL experience but not as a GM?
Well, I think it depends on what role Jim Rutherford's going to have there as well. Like, if you have to if he's going to be the number one guy and everything you do has to go through him, that's going to be a difficult situation as well. And we saw that with Patrick Alvin, especially when it came with the Quinn Hughes trade, is that he wasn't involved in that trade, the biggest trade in his team's for the franchise, and the general manager is not involved, and Rutherford was involved. So it's really weird situation that they have there of who's actually calling the shots. Is it the owner? Is it Rutherford? Will it be the new GM? It's a tough situation, and I think we saw a little bit of that here in Edmonton with Steve Tambellini and Kevin Lowe, and you had Daryl Cates, and no one kind of knew who exactly was calling the shots then. When Ken Holland came in, everyone kind of knew who was in charge, or I think you probably say the same thing about Peter Chiarelli, but I would go with a younger GM, to be honest. Kevin Adams didn't have a lot of success in Buffalo. He drafted a lot of good players, but the team was never really that good. And then, I would go with a guy like Shane Doan. To me is interesting because he's been around the league. He's got a lot of contacts. He knows the game very well. And I think he'd be a popular GM. He'd be a young one, but I think you can't keep recycling the same old guys coming in over and over again. I think you do need some fresh blood, some fresh perspective. But you're right. I think the ownership's got to just be owners and let the people that run the hockey team, let them run the hockey team. And I think that's the situation you're having in Vancouver right now, is that you have a little too many chefs in the kitchen, and you need one guy and let him run the organization. And just find the right guy. And I think there's guys out there. You got to make the right search, and you got to go out there and ask the right questions and find the right person and bring them in, and then let him run the organization, and you can't have too many people kind of telling him what to do or what he should do or what he shouldn't do. All these outside influences don't help you when you're trying to run a team.
No. We'll switch to the Edmonton Oilers, and they're trying to run the Ducks into a corner a little bit. The Oilers have never gone up 2-0 in a series when they started home. They obviously went up 2-0 last year on Vegas, winning both games on the road, won that 1-5. But they have an opportunity to do something they've never done in the McDavid-Draisaitl era, mainly because they don't win game one at home very often, but they did win game one. They didn't play their best in game one by any stretch of imagination. What are you expecting from the Oilers tonight, and any specific areas you feel they need to improve?
Well, I think they need to take advantage of the power play. Obviously, Connor McDavid talked this morning. The zone entries were an issue. I thought the Ducks defended that really, really well. Obviously, they know what's coming. They dropped the puck to McDavid and just kind of let him carry it into the zone. But I think the Ducks were really good lining up at the blue line. They have good sticks, and they have really mobile guys. They have mobile defensemen and they have mobile forwards that can kind of really make it difficult for McDavid to carry into the zone. And McDavid talked about that today, that he's got to do a better job. Chris Knobloch gave some credit to the Ducks that they deserve. They've done a good job, and they have Jay Woodcroft on their staff, so they know exactly what the Oilers like to do on that power play. They like to how they like to set up, how they like to throw it around. McDavid said it's no secret what we do on our power play. So I think that's going to be a big issue here. And I think also the Oilers got the jump on the Ducks because they were a bunch of kids that never played in the playoffs. You have 13 players making their playoff debut. I think, it's tough to get off the jump and to kind of get into that playoff intensity right away. So I think that Anaheim's going to get off to a better start, but they're still a team that falls behind a lot, and they're still a team that has to battle back from behind. So I think the key for Edmonton tonight, if they do get the lead, to kind of try and keep it and try to expand on that. Don't sleep on this Ducks team because they can come back on you, and it's almost like they feel more comfortable chasing the game than they do playing with the lead or when the game is tied. And I think that's going to be key here. If Edmonton does get up on Anaheim, they got to kind of keep the pressure on them and keep going and try to extend that lead as opposed to just sitting on it.
Yeah, I would agree. Even Joe Quenneville admitted that, hey, it's not a great strategy being from behind. When you're behind, you do have to take a few chances. And, Edmonton didn't make him pay in game one. The Ducks scored 3 consecutive goals. You look at if Henrique's out and Dickinson's out, we don't know that he's out, but if he is, that's 2 of your top 4 penalty killers. We obviously know that Connor McDavid can kill penalties. Maybe it's Curtis Lazar. We know Szymanski started to do it. Matt Savoy led their team in penalty kill minutes in the regular season, hasn't killed as much lately, but we do know there was 1 goal directly off a face-off loss on that right side in the defensive zone. And that's where if Dickinson, you're like, geez, I'm not sure he can finish the game. It's not so much can he start the game, it's can he finish the game. And I wonder how much that will go into this game time decision for him tonight.
Yeah, it'll be how much he can tolerate. I think it's just a pain threshold thing for him. He took that puck off the foot and he's having some trouble with it, and I think it's just a matter of what he can do, how mobile he is, and it's that kind of situation. Yeah, but you're right. Curtis Lazar can step in there and he can win faceoffs. I think that's his strength. He can win faceoffs on that right side. And Matt Savoy's he can kill penalties as well. So I think they have situations where they can get those guys in there and help kill some of those penalties. But yeah, Henrique has gone for a while. I looked at that replay over and over again yesterday, and it really looked like his left knee buckled when I think it was Kapanen that kind of inadvertently tripped him. They were both looking at a puck up in the air. And I think that's not good news for a player that's, get on the tail end of his career when your knee buckles like that. You hope it's not too bad. And you hope he's able to come back at some point. But I think the fact that the Oilers do have some depth, they have some options, I think maybe more so than they had in the past, where it all depends on what kind of player they want, whether they need a penalty killer, whether they need a guy in the face-off circle, where they need a bigger body. So I think they have some of those options right now. But as far as Dickinson goes, I think he'll play, but I think it's just a matter of managing that injury and not putting too much stress on that leg when he doesn't need to, by kind of taking morning skates and practices off. But just talking to Jason Dickinson after the game, he's like, I was going to get in there no matter what. So I think he still has that attitude that he wants to play no matter what.
When you look at the I get that he wants to play, and I can understand if he does play, but it's always one where you look at, hey, a little bit of time off and rest, and that's why the Oilers, it's always imperative to finish any series as quick as you can. Ultimately, you just want to win the series, but that's why, like tonight, the Ducks are a team the Oilers should be able to beat in a 7-game series, and you'd like to see that maybe you win in 5, right? Maybe 6, but you definitely never want to go 7, but I look at the importance of tonight's game, and we've seen this Oiler team be a team that at times makes it harder on themselves. Tonight's a great opportunity to say we're not going to make it harder on ourselves than it needs to be.
Yeah, they never seem to do anything the easy way. And I think that's just kind of been the way for the Edmonton Oilers in the past few years. I know they had a tough time in that first round series last year. They lost the first 2 games. They were very lucky to not to lose a third. But yeah, I think that's just the Oiler way. It seems that they can't make anything comfortable. They have to have their backs against the wall. They have to be pushed. They have to be pressed, and for them to kind of come out and play their best. But yeah, it would be really good if they could kind of play this game the way they can play, dominate the way they can dominate, and come out here with a good victory. Go to Anaheim, and now you're looking at to 1 or 2 games there. And you have a quick first-round series. They've always talked about how quickly it is, how important it is to get those quick series, and move on. And I think last year they did that in the second and third round. They were both 1 in 5 games, and they were healthy and happy going into the final. Well, it didn't work out in the final for whatever reason. But I think they've learned that when you have a team down in a playoff series, it's important to put them away because you don't want them sticking around. You don't want to extend games. You don't want to extend series. And we'll see if they've learned that lesson. It's one thing to say, yeah, we understand what we have to do. It's another thing to go out and do it. So, yeah, if you're the Edmonton Oilers tonight, you're thinking, okay, we got to put this game away. We got to go in there, and we got to play as well as we can. And we got to kind of put our foot on the Ducks' throat because this is a team that won't go away. Even if you're up 2-0 in the series, they're going to be battling all the way to the end.
DVD, look forward to it. Should be an interesting game tonight, the Oilers and the Ducks, and we'll find out in a few hours at warm-up whether or not Dickinson is going to play or not, or Curtis Lazar will get his first playoff action for the Oilers. We know for sure that Josh Szymanski is in and will play between Doc and Frederick, the third line. If Dickinson doesn't play, it's Nugent Hopkins at center. If Dickinson does play, then Nuge will start on the wing. So we'll see you at the rink, man. Have a good one.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me on.
There you go. That's Derek Van Diest from NHL.com. I do believe the Oilers, yeah, we all think they should win the series, but there's something to be said, and we saw it all in the regular season. Like the Oilers still have a tendency, and they've said it themselves, we don't like to make it easy for ourselves. Tonight could go a long way to making this series a bit easier on you when it comes to the length of the series. Win tonight, take a stranglehold, go back to Anaheim, get a split, could win in 5. Take a quick break. We'll come back. Cam Tate joins us on the Gregor Show, presented by PlayAlberta.ca.
Craving your favorite mouth-watering pizzas? Papa John's has large specialty pizzas for only $19.99 for a limited time. Get a flavorful all the meat, the works, ultimate pepperoni, Hawaiian, barbecue chicken, and more on original thin or New York style crust. Use the code LSPEC at papajohns.ca or on the Papa John's app. Get yours today. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
Mr. Rooter sees a UFO.
Mr. Rooter says 1 plunge, 2. What's this? A UFO? An unidentified floating object. It's beginning to glow and levitate.
Thank you, Mr. Rooter. You have freed us from the gravity of the white hole. Humanity will be spared.
Wow! People aren't going to believe this when I put it in our new commercial.
If you want to believe in a plumber, call Mr. Rooter.
Who's that working on the underground utilities over there? All-Star Construction, that's who. What about the street lighting? Yep, All-Star Construction. And the directional drilling, hydrovacking, neighborhood renewal, and telecommunication work? Yep. Since 2009, All-Star Construction has been doing all that and more, shaping and building Edmonton communities for land developers all around Edmonton. That's what All-Star Construction is all about.
Good to go.
With Mortgages to Go, you'll be good to go. MortgagesToGo.ca says yes when the banks say no. That's why Alberta has trusted Mortgages to Go for over 23 years. If you need cash and have equity in your home, you're approved instantly, guaranteed. Call 1-888-888-5998. That's 1-888-888-5998. With Mortgages to Go, you'll say, I'm good to go.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Edmonton sports fans, stay informed with Sports 1440. Stream us. Listen to us on the AM dial. However you consume this radio station, thanks for listening.
The job isn't done until the last load is hauled, and having a semi-trailer out of commission is not an option. Whether replacing or adding to your convoy, Edmonton Trailer has a huge inventory of new and used semi-trailers, trusted by the gravel, logging, oil field, fluids, and freight industries. Find a trailer right for you online or at one of their 3 locations. For sales, service, parts, rental, and finance, when you're in it for the long haul, Edmonton Trailer.
It's here. The Ford, it's a big Not yet. The Ford, it's a big deal. Oh, guys, just wait. The Ford It's a Big Deal event is on. Really? Now. Hurry in to lease a 2026 F-150 STX with black adherence package from $237 bi-weekly at 0% APR for 36 months with $54.90 down. That's like $119 a week. The Ford It's a Big Deal event. Visit your Alberta Ford store or Ford.ca.
Canadian Tire's Big Spring Tire Sale is back. Save up to 25% on quality tire brands including Continental, Michelin, Motomaster, and Pirelli until May 21st. Conditions apply. Details online.
Tim's Smile Cookie is almost here. And with every bite, you'll help make a difference close to home because 100% is donated to over 600 local charities and community groups. Buy your Tim's Smile Cookies April 27th to May 3rd at participating restaurants in Canada for a limited time.
Portions of this hour brought to you by Mortgages to Go. Need cash and have equity in your home? Mortgages to Go has you covered. When the bank says no, they say yes, and they've been doing so in Alberta for over 23 years. Call 1-888-888-5998 or visit mortgagestogo.ca.
The Jason Gregor Show, the best of Edmonton sports talk and beyond. This is Sports 1440.
Presented by PlayAlberta.ca, Alberta's only regulated online gambling website.
.345 continues on. Jason Gregor, Connor Halley. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. And coming up tonight, Game 2, Oilers and Ducks. Also, Game 3 is underway in Philadelphia late in the first. Penguins are leading 1-0. In between, you have the Stars and the Wild. That game will get going at around 7:50 puck drop, Edmonton. Tonight, the Carolina-Ottawa series is in the midst of an extra day between games, so they'll go tomorrow. And then you'll see like the Montreal, they get an extra day between games, and they're going on Friday, which is a little odd to me because there's no Montreal Canadiens on Hockey Night in Canada on Saturday night. It just seems a little odd. And what about Vegas and Utah? So they played last night. Now they have Wednesday, Thursday off. They play Friday. Then they have Saturday, Sunday off. So that one will stretch out. And if that series goes long and the Oilers go and the Oilers finish their series, that's another big benefit because now you could have even more time off for Dickinson and other guys who have little elements. And that's where just the importance of tonight's game, when you think big picture in the playoffs, and the Oilers' ultimate goal is to win the cup, right? We all know that. That's the goal, win the cup. Well, you can make it a bit easier on yourself by getting a victory tonight. And potentially you have a short series, Utah. Even if Utah and the Mammoth, like their Game 3 is going to go on the same night that the Oilers are playing Game 4. And then the Oilers are going to play Game 5 before they even play Game 5. And the Ducks are right now, the Golden Knights and Mammoth are guaranteed to go at least 5. Oilers, we don't know yet. Like technically, they could still only go 4. So there could be some extra time off for them. So we'll see. Let's get to Cam Tate and the 2-minute warning brought to you by Legacy Heating and cooling, where the rates never change. No overtime charges. That's how you build a legacy at legacyheating.ca. Cam Tate, longtime journalist in town. Cam, born with cerebral palsy, has been in a wheelchair, never let them slow down. He's always wanted to be on radio. Now Cam's words come to life in the 2-minute warning.
If you're ever in pursuit of a genuine hockey smile, the kind that could thaw a rink in February, don't bother scanning the bench. Coaches, you see, treat grins the way they treat a too many men penalty, with begrudging acknowledgement and a faint whiff of regret. An NHL coach could stumble upon a winning lottery ticket, a half-price Armani suit, and a perfectly sharpened skate blade, and still look like a man who just lost his favorite snowblower in a January blizzard. If smiling were an Olympic event, he'd be in the broadcast booth, dissecting the technique of others, not standing on the podium himself. Perhaps he saves his smiles for tax refunds. Perhaps not. Who's to say? Joel Quenneville. Now there's a man who embodies this stoic tradition. A coach's coach. A man who has spent more time behind an NHL bench than most of us have spent in our favorite armchairs. I can't claim to know what thoughts occupy a man's mind as he shoulders the weight of 2 decades in the league, but I do know this. I recognize a hockey legacy when I see one. And Quenneville's is a mountain, not a molehill. He's been everywhere. St. Louis, Colorado, Florida, and of course, Chicago, where he didn't just find his rhythm, he orchestrated a symphony. 3 Stanley Cups with the Blackhawks, 3 times lifting the most grueling trophy in professional sports. He didn't just coach, he commanded. He didn't just manage stars, he aligned them. No shortcuts, no soft shifts, and absolutely no room for excuses. No smiles this morning in his 5-minute media avail, and no reason to. The Ducks could return to the home of Mickey and Goofy, not a new defensive pairing, down 2 games if they don't win tonight. And with 97 held pointless in Game 1, Quenneville could be demanding danger pay. You'd think a man with that kind of resume would flash a grin now and then. But a smile from Quenneville is as rare as a Zamboni on a gravel road. Blink and you'll miss it. He's a serious man, a chess master in a world of checkers. His teams have faced playoff deficits that would make lesser men crumble. But Quenneville, he kept his foot on the gas, his eyes on the prize, and his emotions firmly in check. I've often thought he'd be a fascinating man to share a beer with. Not the kind of beer you sip while watching the game, but the kind you nurse while unraveling the quiet stories of championship runs and locker room whispers. I haven't had the pleasure yet, but I imagine that's when you'd catch a glimpse of the real Quenneville. That elusive smile might surface at the end of our visit when I ask for the check and pay it. 2-minute warning. Gregor, Hallie, Kruger. Hey, let's go for a beer, eh? This is Cam Tate, Sports 1440.
Interesting angle, Tater. I like it. Oh, man. It is. I get it, right? You don't see a ton of except when you got Vern Fiddler doing the Kevin Bieksa impersonation. Alain Vigneault, he couldn't stop himself. That might be. God, it's funny. I'm sure most of you have seen that. If you haven't, just Google it. Just Google the Fiddler impersonating Bieksa. It's hilarious. And the best, though, is the Canucks head coach. He is dying at that point. Man, I love playoffs for the rivalry. The fans in Philadelphia right now are losing their minds. So late in the first period, they're lining up for a face-off. Crosby and Hathaway, there's minutes ago, they line up for the face-off. Before the puck is dropped, Hathaway gets a high sticking call. And the Philly fans are going nuts because Crosby went down in a heap. And then the refs get together. Crosby gets an embellishment penalty. I'm pretty sure that's his first embellishment penalty of his career, if I'm not mistaken. I got to double check it, but I'm pretty sure it is. So, Cons, I don't know if you were watching that in studio or not, but that was wild. You don't see it very often. The crowd's just going nuts. It's awesome. Like, hey, Philly fans, they're loud, they get gone, and they can't stand Crosby. But because it's a bit like they respect him, they wish he was on their team, but they hate him. And I get why, right? It'd be like Flame fans against Gretzky or against McDavid now. Like, they're like, what? This guy just beats us for fun all the time. All the time.
It's the best because they probably wanted it, and then they got it too, right?
Yeah.
Like, come on, he dove.
Yeah.
Oh, he did. Oh, okay.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. That's their reaction was unbelievable. They're just like, finally, for once, we're complaining, and it worked because they're going to think, see, the ref does change his mind. He didn't change his mind per se. They just had a conversation. They gave him an embellishment. Watch the replay, man. I can't remember to call the last time I saw a guy get a high stick call before they drop the puck because they're lined up in the faceoff dot, and the other guy gets embellishment. It's something that you don't see very often, but high intensity. in that game for sure. You watch it. It's like and really Hathaway I didn't even know, like, he was skating by. He turns around and now I don't know. I watched it again. He might have done it on purpose, but man, did Crosby go down hard. Oh, I'll retweet it. This is unreal. That's a classic move by both of them, to be honest. Like, if Hathaway, a no-look little tap to the face, the fact that he did it, I like everything about it. I like everything about that play. Like, just from a comedy, Crosby's down, crowd's going nuts. Oh, I love it when you get the emotion involved, man. It's fantastic. So you go check that one out. Go check it out. So coming up, we will have the pregame show with Walker and Paulson. Then they'll be back for the post-game show tonight. Oilers and the Ducks. Oilers going to Cons, who's scoring the first goal of the game? And then give me Declan, tell him to get his microphone. Who's scoring the first goal of the game tonight?
Declan, get your mic ready. First goal of the game. It's a cop-out, but I'm going Connor McDavid. I think that it's going to be a highlight reel goal after hearing about how he didn't put up a point. He was shut down on the power play. I think we're going to get an answer from the captain, and it's going to be a highlight reel goal.
Declan?
Bouch on the power play.
Bouchard on the power play. All right. I'm taking Draisaitl for the first goal of the game tonight. So we'll see what happens.
We're all living dangerously.
I think it's going to be 1-1 after the first period. That's my other prediction. So, the Oilers, the second period has not been good to them this season, so they'll try to change that trend tonight. From everyone here at On the Rocks, man, it's filling up pretty good here. So you want to get down, watch the game in nice and warm weather inside with all sorts of specials. Jasper Ave and 118th Street. It is the Gregor Show presented by PlayAlberta.ca. Let's get to the comment and a sports 1440 update brought to you by Mortgages to Go. Do you need cash and have equity in your home? Mortgages to Go has you covered. When the bank says no, they say yes. They've been doing it in Alberta for over 23 years. Call 888-888-5998 or visit mortgagestogo.com. Good night.
This is a Sports 1440 update.
It's game day. Oilers Ducks down at Rogers Place, game 2 of their first round series. Oilers up 1-0. Pre-game coverage coming up next with Andrew Walker and Donovan Paulson. Elsewhere, Penguins lead the Flyers 1-0 after 20 minutes. Later tonight, Wild and Stars meeting in St. Paul. Puck drop 7:30 in the association second quarter action. Pistons on top of the Magic 31-27. Later tonight, you got the Suns and the Thunder. Major League Baseball earlier today. Jays falling to the Angels 7-3. They're off tomorrow, taking on the Guardians in Toronto on Friday. Right now, Braves up with the Nationals 8-4. Tigers lead the Brewers 2-1, and the Mets have a 2-1 lead, or a 1-0 lead over the Twins. In the AJ tonight, it is game 4. Canmore taking on Whiteport. Eagles lead that series 2-1. Puck drop at 7. And in the BCHL, Crusaders and Bandits in action in Sherwood Park. Puck drop at 7 o'clock. Brooks up 2-1. There, PWHL after 20 minutes. Boston, Ottawa scoreless tonight at 8. You got Seattle taking on Minnesota. Coming up next, pregame coverage. Andrew Walker, Donovan Paulson with guests Landon Ferraro and Gene Principe. I'm Connor Halley. This has been a Sports 1440 update.
Sports 1440, a Stingray radio station broadcasting